Hi and welcome to PPUK. I'm excited for this one. This week we're doing the Gold Experience, and we've got a full house today. We've got Paddy.
Hey.
We've got Andy.
Hello.
We've got Lee.
Yay, we're doing gold. Yay.
Yeah, and we got Leah.
Woo! Hi.
Press gold to begin.
And who's our delightful host?
Oh, it's me. I'm so
Chopin.
glad.
Hey, Chopin.
Yeah. Hi. I'm so excited about this album. I even forgot to introduce myself.
Yeah, don't forget to give yourself a name check.
Exactly.
To be fair, at this point in Prince's career, he didn't have a name to give himself either, really.
This is true.
Smooth, Leah. Smooth.
Yeah.
Well played.
Okay, so like we said before, this is the Gold Experience, and I'm gonna go around, and I'm gonna start with. So for first impressions of the album, I'm gonna start with Andy.
Okay. What was this year? 94, 95-ish, was it?
95 is when it finally came out, but it was kind of being promoted from 94.
Yeah, I can't remember where I got it or like where I bought it or whatever. I can remember at this stage I was buying Prince releases with less and less hope that he'd be more like the Prince I liked. And I was buying them loyally, but possibly overlooking them a bit. I don't have many memories of Gold, except I thought, oh, this is good stuff, not great stuff. And I didn't spin it enough to fall in love with it at the time. And I have all my one recollection of the era, which is really germane, is going to see him in Wembley at this time.
Yes, me too.
And it was a really, really awkward concert, as anyone who went on that tour knows, because he refused to play almost any song from any other era other than the Gold Experience. And of course, you understand what he was trying to do as an artist, but he was not paying dues to the general public who wanted to see him, who have no idea this is going to happen. And it was the tensest, least pleasant Prince concert I've ever been to in my life, because people were booing and people were unhappy and people were walking out. So I found that like very uncomfortable but interesting as a diehard Prince fan.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, on the TV screens, because this was my very, very first concert ever, I believe. My very first Prince concert, definitely. And on the TV screens, it came up with the album, and it was like the Gold Experience, release date never. And it was coming up on the screens. And people were booing, because it was like, yeah, new album. And then it was like, release date never. And people started booing that.
I'd forgotten that. I just remember that as the concert progressed, this is a negative way to start, sorry everyone, but as the concert progressed and it became clearer and clearer that he wasn't going to basically kowtow to anything crowd-pleasing, it made a lot of people very, very unhappy, and I could respect their point of view.
Okay, so Paddy, what do you remember of this era?
Well, my story is very, very similar to Andy's. Probably unsurprising for anybody who knows Andy's and my views.
We may as well just merge our characters into one at this point.
Well, yeah, no, it's very, very similar to you. I remember it coming out. I'd been a Prince fan since '88. I was very much an '80s guy. Perhaps unsurprisingly, I really liked Endorphin Machine. I remember he'd played it a couple of times at the end of Act 2 on a couple of the concerts I'd gone to see on that tour. And obviously, I guess prior to this, he'd essentially done a Greatest Hits tour, and he'd played Sign of the Times for the first time since like '87 live and all that kind of thing, with the one exception of Pittsburgh, I think it was on Love 62, but that's just me being anal about bootlegs. It didn't immediately grab me. I guess very similarly, yet again, I had my best seats ever for a Prince gig at a Gold Tour gig at Sheffield Arena. I was second row, bang in the middle, and I came away disappointed because similarly I was finding it difficult that I wasn't listening to anything I really wanted to listen to. And it's a massive, massive, massive disappointment, because if I could go back and watch that show now, I would. I would really break somebody in half to get there. But
you even talking about not enjoying that show makes me want to break you in half.
I know I can
Yeah,
appreciate
it's like-
it completely. I really can. And even to make you mad, in retrospect, what I can remember, it was absolutely stunning. Simplistic, visceral, kind of low key in a big environment and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I was the same. I was disappointed at the time. The album itself, over the years, grew on me significantly. It certainly is. Diamonds and Pearls might edge it for a 90s album for me, but I think there is something a bit more special, unique, princely, not as commercial as Diamonds and Pearls is, which is part of what I like about Prince, therefore, very much a big part of what I like about the album as well. So yeah, basically I'm a bit of a rubbish 80s guy like Andy, except he's not rubbish.
Okay, so Leah, I think you might like this one.
So I'm slightly biased because this is my favourite Prince album of all time.
Yes!
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I love the fact that she's holding. By the way, for those that obviously we're hearing this podcast, we're actually recording this on video. She actually has a cat on her lap.
It's my pussy control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is my favourite Prince album of all time. I can't give you first impressions because I don't remember the first time I heard the album. I feel like I heard this album in drips and drabs through various bootlegs. I don't think I actually heard the album as an official released version until, I don't know, I was probably already attending Prince parties and events by the time I kind of heard that album in its released form.
Do you know the weirdest thing is that's actually how a lot of Prince fans at the time heard it. It was one of those albums that actually it was drip fed to you, and it's one of the few albums where usually you get the album and that starts the era. Gold is flipped around where you start the Gold experience anticipating it, but it lasts like so long that by the time the album comes out, that's it. The Gold era is done when it's released. So it's kind of a similar experience to those that were there around the time.
Well, that's reassuring. I was dreading you coming to me. What's your memories when this came out? Not even being in the womb yet.
I was about to say, how old were you?
I was minus something. I'm a 97 baby. So
-2, Jesus.
But I absolutely adore this album. I'm trying to think if there were any songs that I maybe didn't know by the time I heard the album. And I think maybe the only tracks I didn't know were March and maybe Shy. The rest I'd heard in bootlegs in various forms. But yeah, my favourite Prince period album. I think it's an absolute masterpiece.
And Lee?
Oh, come on. It's 90s. One of us on this podcast was having mascara and writing the word slave on his cheek. I'm not saying who that is.
Guilty.
Oh, it was my as everyone knows, it was the Symbol album and Diamonds and Pearls that made me become a Prince fan. But the Come and the Gold experience, I fully dived into the swimming pool and I was full on Prince fan, and it was my first concert. I was blown away. I know everyone. I'd seen the Beautiful Experience, so I knew some of the songs. I remember getting, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chopin, there was the sample tape of the concert.
MPG sampler.
And it had like Get Wild on there. And it was like, where do and you become a drug addict of, where do I get these tracks from? And like Chopin said, you were hunting down these tracks and trying to find ways to get them. And I remember recording the Beautiful Experience, the audio from the VHS tape that I'd recorded from VH1 or whatever, and trying to create my own compilation, and then trying to, you were ticking off the songs. It's like, because obviously we'll talk about it later about the different combinations of Gold and Come, but you were trying to make your own Gold experience album. But I remember getting the program. I loved all the artwork and the him with the black hat. you know, I was driving my Escort round Southend with Pussy Control blaring out of the car, proper Essex boy, and people were like, "What's this song?" And I'm like, "It's Pussy Control," and I was fully into the whole Gold experience, and like, you know, people would phone me up and I'm like, "Hello, this is," you know, pretending I'm the MPG operator and
Oh wow.
doing whatever I could to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, I remember making like mixtapes and designing the artwork and
Yes.
the whole. I'll probably dig it out and put the image up somewhere. But I was fully, you know, my first Prince concert. I was hooked, and when the album came out, I remember running down to HMV and like, oh yeah, it's got this on it. It's got Endorphin Machine on it. It's got this, you know, absolutely. And I think it was like at the time of when you had the interactive CD and you had the Endorphin Machine video if you'd done the puzzle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, and I've mentioned this before on other podcast episodes about how, you know, the use of technology in the music videos and the combination of all the albums during the 90s, how it influenced me and the career that I'm in at the moment with, you know, computer games and computers, and it influenced me a hell of a lot, and I absolutely love the album. That, you know, 95, 96, 97 is my golden era of Prince.
What is this in your top 5 albums?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
What number? What couldn't you say?
2 or 3, I think. Yeah, I'd probably say 3. I'd go Diamonds and Pearls, Symbol album, then come. Sorry, Diamonds and Pearls, Symbol album, Gold Experience, then come. Sorry.
Got it.
Sorry, was that a bit too over enthusiastic? I do apologise.
No,
that's another experience.
Everything we want. I was so happy. I was bouncing.
But I think, you know, me and you, Chopin, our friendship's built on, you know, our love for these albums, and
we're not going to ask Chopin what he thinks of it because we all know he's just indifferent to this one. So let's move on to what we think. And that's all we got time for, folks.
Let me have the mic.
You don't want me on the mic.
Chopin, get on the mic.
You want me on the mic. This is a weird one because some of this stuff is you guys are reminding me of, and this is taking me back. So it was like a treasure hunt because there was all these coded messages in the beautiful experience and the interactive game, and then you had like when Get Wild single came out, they had Free the Gold experience on it, and it was just this whole thing. And I remember it was about the time I found £5 bootleg cassettes from Greenwich Market and Camden Market, because the shop was obviously opening as well. So we had the MPG store in London, and I was going to that like every couple of weekends. I barely had enough money to get up there and kind of get a Coke and maybe a postcard or something like that. But I was spending my time around that. So there was all of the kind of cryptic stuff, and you were hearing stuff there. You were hearing bootlegs. I remember there was an early compilation of the album made of like live performances from TV shows. Like it had Dolphin from The Letterman Show, Days of Wild from The Beautiful Experience, Shy from a Canal Plus rehearsal, I Hate You recorded from the PA, and it was like this really incomplete, like various sources version of the Gold experience, but it's all we had of the album at the time. So it was just like kind of, not to push a point, but golden, this golden little kind of mix hodgepodge of versions and trying to make what the album's gonna sound like. It was fantastic time. I remember before the album came out, I got 2 pairs of like just like Primark kind of black jogging bottoms, you know, like off a market stall, some gold fabric paint, and wrote Endorphin Machine down the leg of one pair and Pussy Control down the leg of another pair. Like it, you know, I was like kind of drawing symbols on absolutely everything, like kind of like a teenage Beatles fans and a Ringo verse, you know, Chopin for Ringo or Chopin for McCartney or whatever. Instead of that, it was just like I was drawing symbols on everything. I was drawing that silhouette of interactive with the big top hat.
Amazing.
It was just like a treasure trove, and every every now and again you'd find this new piece of music. And when I first heard Interactive from that CD-ROM, because Interactive was on the CD, I mean, I was blown away. And when we think about the fact that that song didn't even make it on the album, that was a first listen of the Gold Experience, and it was around for so long that the song didn't even make it on the album. And it was just like, this was a true... This is the closest, I think, to kind of being in that parade to Sign of the Times era where, like, album things were changing every minute. Was it Dream Factory? Is Camille coming out? Or the difference being that you were kind of sort of live streamed to his whims, because he was putting out the songs and clues, because he had all of these independent things come out. Remember, there was even thinking that maybe Love Sign was going to be it, because radios were playing Love Sign and it was going to be the next big hit, but then, you know, it wasn't allowed to come out. And which kind of strengthened the case. Is like, so he's got songs like Love Sign that people that's playing on Kiss FM, that my friends are asking me, what's this Love Sign song? You know, I love this new Prince song, Pop, 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 Got a Pistol, you know, and The Most Beautiful Girl's just gone to #1. So it was kind of like this, you know, this Prince album's about to blow up, and then it's just kind of like, by the time it comes out, there's only a few Prince fans left kind of chasing this album. And it was a very strange experience to kind of close off an era with the album coming out. And I remember when that album came out, I was doing a drama A-level, and I kind of missed the class, and I just stood outside at Al Price waiting for it to open. Grabbed that copy. I think I used my student grant money to buy
Story
it.
of my life.
Ran back down Eltham High Street to my house and put that thing on full blast. And I was just like, wait a minute, Days of Wild isn't on this.
Yeah, well, this is it. You were trying to... It was like playing Prince Bingo. You're trying to tick off the songs and find which album it was on. Two memories that you've just brought up for me, Chopin. Sorry to interrupt.
And then Endorphin Machine sounds completely different. And, like, it's, like, I don't know if anybody's seen the Sunday show where he's talking with the mask as Tora, and he's not talking, but he shows a copy of the Gold Experience, and it's this gold foil cover. And it's like, you get it, and it's like, it's not gold foil. This song's not on it. This song's different from the one that's you've been listening to. Some of it sounds better, some of it is kind of different, but altogether, I think it was just like, it was an emotional roller coaster. Well, no, it wasn't a roller coaster.
The bootleg of itself, almost. You kind of get that look, and the cover looks different to what you expected, and not everything's quite on there.
Yeah, it was so weird.
I'm sure you'll remember this, Chopin. The box music video chat.
Box Talk 777.
Yeah, and thank you. I was like, I'm sure the number was 777, and it was for Dolphin, wasn't it? Yeah. So basically, the box was like MTV, but you could pick the music video if you dialed in and then dialed 3-digit number, and then your video would then get played on the channel. And Dolphin was on there, and I was my phone bill was huge, because I was constantly phoning.
Was that you that was ordering that? Because I wasn't able to order it. Thanks to you, I got. Oh yes, because thanks to you, I got to tape it on. I got a VHS of it.
And you just remember, obviously when you dial up and you see so it has like a little typo thing, and then you type in 77, you see 777 come up on the screen. And then about 3 or 4 minutes later, your music video would then play. So Dolphin kept on, and I kept on. My phone bill was huge. I got murdered for that. Because
and then you had,
what you phone? Thinking my parents thinking I'm phoning some kind of dodgy sex line, and I'm not. I'm phoning up a music channel, ordering a Prince music video.
And they had the clip video for "Let It Go," which was just the video made out of bits of 3 Chains of Gold.
Yeah, and then the other one was, like you said, Love Sign, I think, was on there as well.
Yeah. Oh, and this is the other thing. Halfway through this whole thing, where everybody's focused on, like, all the Prince fans are kind of, or at least the ones, you know, like I was, you know, all of the newbies, were focused on, this Gold Experience is coming out. Then all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, this VHS of the 3 Chains of Gold from, like, the Symbol album comes out as well, and then you got The Undertaker, and then you got Sacrifice of Victor. So it's like there's so much like. So
But
the
you're trying to
music is
establish a timeline, aren't you?
like,
Trying to
what does this? Yeah, exactly. Is the Undertaker what this is going to sound like? Is the Undertaker, and Dolphins on the Undertaker, and it's like, so that's what Dolphins going to sound like. So in this has been a slightly extended kind of first listen, but weirdly enough, though, what did you think before the album comes out? Pretty much encapsulates the whole era, because by the time it comes out, the only thing that comes out, I think, after the album comes out is Gold, the single. But that might have
You've
come out.
got I Hate You.
That
Gold.
came out before, yeah, because that had the Hate Experience, and it was like, oh, there's the Beautiful Experience and the Hate Experience and the Interactive Experience and the Gold Experience. It's like, and the Now Experience, yeah, like it was bliss.
And then later on, probably not around the time, but I remember, and I don't know if Chopin wants to confess this because I'm sure you used it as well. There was an underground peer-to-peer bit of software called the Royal Hub, and you could.
That was later on for me.
Yeah,
but
that was later on, and
I was there. I was doing that.
the Royal Hub,
yeah.
and then you had to share like so many gigs of Prince material,
Yeah.
and it was literally bootleg central, and it was like similar to Napster, and it was like the Prince version of Napster, and it was called the Royal Hub. And I'm hoping some of the listeners remember this.
Invite only, policed, really good.
Yeah, invite only. It was like the secret Prince underground.
Sorry, Leah, this was all gone by the time you were.
Yeah,
like...
and it was the amount of stuff, and it was like similar to what you said earlier, Chopin. It was a treasure hunt, and you're hunting for all these different versions of Come or the Gold Experience. And I just remember just having folders and folders of stuff.
And meanwhile, when all of this is coming out, Exodus comes out just out of nowhere. Like just out of nowhere, and like Come is kind of like comes out at the later end of '94, but then so there's going to be a tour, and it's going to Gold Experience tour for an album that's not coming out. But instead of the album that's not allowed to come out, Exodus comes out, and it's just like, but this is amazing, and it just sounds like nothing. Like, how can this guy, who I've been chasing all of this music, that has so much music that's not even made it onto an album yet, have this other album that's fantastic, another one of my top 3, that doesn't even sound or isn't even anything to do with this whole Gold Experience thing? It was just blew me away. I was blown away.
But again, with the Exodus, you're still playing Prince Bingo, but like, oh yeah, it's got Days Get Wild and everything. You're like, okay, so you've basically got three or four albums that you're creating your perfect playlist from. I'm sure.
I just at this point have to say an apology to Andy and Paddy, because they're basically just going to have to let us run out of steam.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there like kind of parents, just going, yeah, Gold Experience, eh?
No, it's very interesting to me, right? Because like I was doing this 8 years before I was like as enthusiastic about this sort of stuff, and like somebody mentioned the MPG sampler tape at the concert, and I seem to remember, I don't think it had sold out when I was in Wembley, but I didn't even buy it because I
think it was
given
out.
to you.
Oh, it was given to me. Oh, then why don't I have it? Maybe they'd run out of them.
I'm sure I've got mine somewhere. But I remember
you were given it and you binned it. That's a different level. That's
no, I would never bin any of this stuff. But I don't remember. But anyway, my bigger point is that it is like, I think Chopin, you said it's like the endless configurations of Sign of the Times and Dream Factory and Camille. It is similar to that, but it's just like by this point in Prince's career, and my career as a Prince fan, I wasn't so interested in putting my nose to the ground and following every bump of the landscape. I would just let it rain on me when it did, and I just didn't follow it in like forensic detail. I'd lost my will to do that by this point. So it's very interesting to, it's exciting for me to hear that you guys were still doing that at this point.
So back to the MPG sampler tape. So obviously this was my first concert
soon to be released Tora experience.
Yeah. So. And I remember we went up, so it was me and two of my other friends, and they weren't really Prince fans, but they like came along with me. I remember we got the sample tape, and then we was on a coach, so the coach would pick us up and drop us off. And when the concert finished, we was like, "Oh, can we play the tape?" So the tape was playing on the coach, and it was all the songs. You think, "Oh yeah, we're going to get the full version of the song," and it wasn't. It was literally just 30-second samples or whatever of just each song, and you're like, it was just. But we were all like, some of the tracks on there and getting all excited, and I remember that as well. But
and some of those songs never came out.
Yeah.
The Madhouse ones, the Madhouse 24 ones, never came out.
I do like that everything was so sort of the workings were shown at this point. Like, Prince didn't know what his plans were probably half the time during this period. Looking back on it now, the wealth of stuff that came out. Throw this to this album, make this a 19-track remix, epic maxi single. Put this on Crystal Ball a few years later. It was like, I know you like this era for this reason as well, Chopin, and probably Lee, how messy it was, and how whereas to me it feels like kind of a dirty downer or like it all happens in kind of flickery darkness, and it feels like a hangover of I don't know. I get it. It's got a kind of sordid dirt about it and a confusion about it that I can respect. I like it.
The thing that really permeated all this time, and I can see, it was quite exciting. I mean, irrespective of how I might felt of it when it all landed in a consumable form via the record company and so forth. I'd been listening to some of these tracks played at, as I say, at the end of some of the Act 2 concerts and really liked them and all this kind of thing. But the thing about it to me that came across that was palpable was this, how angry he was and how pissed he was, and this kind of intransigent end. And I think I struggled to make a mental movement to not like agree with him or fall in line. I was a Prince disciple from pretty much the first time I heard him, but like, I don't know, that was one of the things that made it uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, it felt like an ugly thing. I think
a little bit, yeah.
That's what I didn't like about that show, was it was just like there were fans there who'd just gone to see Purple Rain and Little Red Corvette and Kiss, and it felt like they're not, you shouldn't be beefing with those guys, Prince.
Well, the bottom line was he'd sold tickets on the back of that material, not this material. Now, again, it feels weird for me to say it now, because in spite of what I say, I do absolutely love this album, and it's one of the best from the 90s and so on and so forth. But it's that journey through time, unfortunately. And he was always several car lanes ahead.
And obviously, the important point is he was at war with his record company at the same time, and
hence was the anger.
It was the middle finger to his record label of like, I'm not doing the hits, I'm doing all the material, and I'm gonna tell everyone I can't. Let me release the album. It was a protest.
I know, but I think it affected the wrong people.
Yeah, that's it.
I kind of, it's interesting because you say about this anger, but I was looking for a kind of positive anger at the time. I don't know, that sounds kind of an and that's what it was to me, was a completely positive anger. It wasn't this kind of nihilistic, isn't the world terrible? It's kind of like it was, it was angry, but from still trying to kind of have like this positive, all that glitters ain't gold, like. So for me, it was, at that time in my life, it was like, it fits so perfectly into what I wanted from music, interactive, like Pressure Valve, like just kind of energy and stuff. To me, it timed it perfectly. I never went to the show. I only listened to it on like an audience bootleg the week after. I remember going up there the week after the first show, and like I still didn't attach the fact that I could ever go to these shows, or I thought they were always all sold out and months ahead. I didn't realize these shows I could have possibly, if I'd borrowed enough money from my brother, gone to.
I realised how lucky I was to go to that concert, and I remember Marte being dressed up as an angel and flying around, Morris Hayes dressed as the devil flying around, and I think she was sprinkling glitter. And I remember I remember the videos that were playing on the screen, and you were trying to work out what they were. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chopin, but I think one of them was the same December, Empty Room, and
Finally.
yeah, and there was something else.
There's a clip of Pussy Control, same December, Zannalee, Empty Room, and 18 and Over.
That was it, yeah. And it was like everyone's trying to piece it all together, and it's like, and the other thing was, it was like, oh, is this a smart marketing campaign saying this album isn't coming out, and not, it is, and it's more of a, was this whole fight with the record label, was it some kind of flip marketing of promoting an album? And
well, that was the other confusing thing, because in the middle of all of this, when the tour hit London, then you get the Purple Medley single. It's like, I'm never going to release any of my hits again.
And
then
I'm pretty sure that's how the concert started. It was that was
yeah,
played.
it was, but they never released the video.
As a fan, it was impossible. As a fan with the mindset that Andy and I had, it was kind of impossible to take that any other way than a bit of a kick in the face. Absolutely, you can see why he's pissed off at his record company. But like Andy said, there's the record company, there's him as the artist, and there are the fans, and it sort of smashed the wrong group of people.
Yeah, I think Prince wasn't on drugs, but I always think of this time as, I think what I was trying to say was like, this is it feels like a kind of allegory for a bad drug trip. I don't mean to say, like when I think of this era, I just think of kind of like carpets with grit all over them, and sort of like really sort of scuzzy kind, and like Maite throwing out glitter, and it all feels kind of like it all feels angry and cheap and homemade. I'm not saying that's not interesting. It is, and it's like Prince sort of deconstructing some sort of breakdown, and artistically, it's really interesting.
It was very DIY. The live show was very DIY.
It was homemade if your home is Paisley Park.
Well, definitely.
So you have a look at the Top of the Pops Mustang mix and Endorphin Machine videos. It's basically silver mylar foil as the backdrop.
It's super scuzzy. It feels like the world's most expensive cheap house party.
But it was the perfect antidote. It's the perfect antidote to the gloss of like Symbol and Diamonds and Pearls.
I get
in that sense.
I get it. It just feels like having glass rubbed in my eyes a bit in the era. I wanna get us into the album, right?
Okay.
Sorry, when I say all this stuff, it sounds negative, but it's like fascinating to me. But I want to bring us round to the album, because you'll enjoy this bit as well, you guys, because. This is quite timely, because we've just had the record store release of the album on vinyl, which most people haven't had it on vinyl. I certainly didn't.
I haven't still got it on vinyl because my record stores didn't have it.
Well, you'll get one. And I was excited about the vinyl release, because although I wasn't a massive fan of the album at the time, over the years, it's a solid album. I think even at the time I knew it was solid. To me, it's still very much like an album to be excited about. If I hear it's coming out on vinyl, I want that, right? So I went and got it the other day from Soho, and I brought it back and I stuck it on, and it sounds beautiful. And this is where everyone's going to have a nice time, because you're too negative. No, I'm not. You're not accusing me of that. I know I am. I stuck it on, and I thought, not only does this sound great, it's absolutely banging the album up in my estimation now. It's made me fall in love with it properly for the first time ever, I would imagine.
I think it's really timely. I think we are due a full release, kind of a reissue treatment of it in general, not just for Record Store Day. Obviously working in fashion as well, I kind of look at the stylistic, the live footage and the costuming and all that stuff that come with the album. And it's
the chevron jackets.
Everything.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The hats. Love them. It's actually really poignant trend-wise at the moment, the whole Y2K thing, the whole stylistic side of the album, the performances. You were talking about it feeling like grit on carpet. That is like, without sounding like a cliche fashion person, it's so on trend at the moment. If they were to re-release this and package it right with the imagery from the live performances, I think it would do incredibly, just because it seems like something that would be released now.
Well, that's an interesting point.
I'm throwing my money at the screen. I'm throwing my money at the screen.
The thing is, it has this resurgence of kind of like acid hippie with the flower kind of vibe in there. A lot
Techno
of the videos.
hippies.
I'm going to come out and say it. The cover of the album as it was released was butt, right?
I agree.
It was bad. It wasn't. No one could get behind that cover. It didn't sell it. And I even prefer, the re-release cover that's just the basically cardboard with a symbol stuck on the front, which mimics the promo LP at the time. But the cover did no favors to this album, and the way it's a much better album than the way Prince himself treated it at the time and threw it away, like you say, Chopin. It's kind of as a souvenir of the end of an era of confusion rather than the actual starting point of an era.
Well, I mean, I can only assume that by the time it was released, he was on to the next thing. He was already making Emancipation.
Well, that sounds like our guy, yeah. Which had another terrible cover as well.
It's like, Free the Gold Experience. Free the Gold. It's coming out. Do you want to promote it? No, I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, but think about it now. If you would have done that now and you would have had like hashtag Free the Gold Experience, it was way ahead of its time in terms of
flyering clubs that he owned,
anti-marketing, and it was it would have been great to.
I can see the Prince estate releasing those live clips on TikTok and people being obsessed, especially, welcome to the Gold Experience. All this, the voiceover, the sample parts, people would be making their own TikToks to them, miming it. It would be brilliant. It is perfect for right now.
And obviously, you guys know how much I love technology, but MPG Operator was the Alexa and Siri of its time. It was way, you have now accessed the Siri experience. You've now, it was,
I know
that whole style and the fact that you could access music through a computer and.
I was all in that the music industry was obsolete. He
was way. I've said this a million times before, and I'll say it again. He was way ahead of his time. And he was one of the first artists to sell stuff online. He saw the potential of the internet in the early days, and obviously became very negative about it later on. But there's so much you can deconstruct socially and technology-wise. I could write an essay about this.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do the album.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a cuss. It was just like, I want to talk about the music. And the most important thing to me, after all of it, do I like the music?
I don't think we would have been this enthusiastic about the process and the imagery and stuffing if it didn't have the music to back it up. I think you could have done all of this and all of these concepts and you would be like, oh, it's kind of interesting. Someone's doing that kind of style. It's really interesting that they're doing that kind of cyber hippie thing with, like technology and stuff, and they're a bit ahead of their time. I think it would have been a bit like that if it wasn't for the fact that all of this music is so damn good. It's just so good. It's mixed well. It's one of the few albums that doesn't need Prince albums that doesn't need a remaster.
That's for sure.
You don't need to touch it. It's beautiful. It sounds great. You don't need to pump it up anymore.
I got to tell you again. I mean, I have to say it again. Get it on vinyl if you've got a player, people out there, and you can get a copy. Have you listened to it on vinyl yet? Who here has? Yeah. Do you think it sounds as good as I'm making it out to sound? Because I think it sounds tremendous.
I mean, it's kind of thing. I actually didn't open that record store day one because I've got the original gold vinyl.
Oh, one. Have you you've got the promo?
And I've got the original Gold Experience vinyl with the proper cover. So
this is why we love you, Chopin.
This is why I haven't opened my record store day cover, and
I didn't know you had those, guys.
I've got one coming from the estate because those ones are numbered, so I'm going to end up with 4 copies.
If you've not seen Chopin's unboxing videos, please go to our YouTube channel and Facebook page.
Well, I'm going.
Watching Chopin open a box is the most entertaining thing I've ever seen.
I'm going to assume that it's the same pressing or the same. It will sound the same, so you don't need to play the new ones, right? Or it's going to be a similar experience, but it
might actually be a bit better because the old ones were. Sorry, it might be a bit better because it's probably better vinyl because the mid-90s pressings were very thin vinyl. So
then I would play it because it just sounds. This was the thing that took it up to me from solid album to I've overlooked something good here.
I think if Chopin thinks that this album is any better than he already thinks it is, your head might explode, Chopes.
Yeah, he'll just dissolve.
It's probably for the best.
It's gonna be. I'm just gonna. It won't even get to the start of the first song. It'll just go into that like bass lick in at the start of Pussy Control. It's like boom, 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 and that's it. I'll be done. I'll turn to vapor, pure vapor of joy.
You've just accessed the Chopin experience.
Please change your underwear.
Yes. Please keep this in the edit.
The weird thing is, it was like My Taste Glitter. Oh, right.
So anyway, apparently, there's an album with songs on it.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. That's right. I heard they're going to make this into an album now. Yeah.
So speaking of Pussy Control, that bass lick when it comes in, that boom, 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 just out of nowhere, and then those drums start coming in. Oh.
Okay, confession time. It was also one of the albums that wanted me to learn Spanish because of the intro at the beginning.
Princess del Muerto.
Princess del Muerto. What does that mean?
Though he's gone, we will still carry on, isn't it?
Yes, I remember my friend from Spain come over and I was like, you got to listen to this, please translate.
Huh.
So yeah, but yeah, Pussy Control, awesome.
And that lead line, those cutting like saw synths that do, what a lick. There's just like so many little, it's so detailed, this mix. It's like, it's kind of like, sounds like a simple song, but there's loads of little like kind of like screams and squelches and sound effects that just like, you got this one kind of like solid groove, you know, that dun 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 dun. And like it's all built on that, but there's like the little bits of like screams and kind of like little synth like dun 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 dun.
What we're going to do after this podcast is we're going to actually use all the stems Chopin is giving us now with his voice and make the Chopin full orchestra a cappella remix.
I'm already coding a Chopin soundboard where you just have buttons and you click on them and it just Chopin sound effects.
You could just do a sampler set, but with
the Chopin sample set. Yeah.
I'm just happy talking about this. I'm just so happy that it gets a discussion. I love you too, man. What did you think? Like starting with Pussy Control. Like, what did you think of that one, Andy?
I've never been a huge fan of it, I'm afraid. But it's like that. Again, it's really weird. Like in the last week, everything I liked about this album has been bolstered, and stuff that I thought was okay has got very good, and stuff that I thought was very good has generally got excellent. Pussy Control is now very good, in my opinion, and it's. I thought it was thin and kind of harsh at the time. I think, and this isn't just a sound quality thing, by the way. The vinyl is a great pressing to me, but it's also I constantly, even the Prince eras I'm less enthusiastic about, I constantly go back, reevaluate them, take away a lot of the expectations I had at the time, or they've mellowed over the years, or they just got fed back into what I think about Prince overall, and I just reevaluate stuff, and I find that I can just relax into stuff that I didn't love at the time. Pussy Control is like a solid 7 for me now, where it was always a 5 in the past, and maybe it's even an 8 if I'm in a good mood. It sounds okay. God damn it, it sounds good. I think the message is kind of a little bit Prince having his cake and eating it. I mean, if he's doing all this, you can't, a bitch is never a bitch and all that. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing, but it's all that. It's like, and you're calling it Pussy Control and trying to make it sexy and angry, but trying to be progressive at the same time. And then later on in I Hate You, you're going to start calling women bitches again and stuff, and saying you're going to use the rod. It's typical confused. I want to be an angel and a devil all at once. So the lyrics are less interesting to me. The sound is good.
It's really interesting that you mentioned the lyrics there. One of the points I was going to make about this song is, for me, it's one of those Prince songs where the lyrics are really important. And what I mean about that isn't actually the content, but when I think of that song, I instantly knew every single word. I maybe heard that song 2-3 times and I knew every single word. And the only kind of similar-ish one I have like that is Face Down. where I know every single kind of instantly. And when I think of Pussy Control, I couldn't just dance to Pussy Control. I have to rap every single word, scream every single note. Like, you can't just do one or the other. So whereas the lyrical content isn't important to me, just the energy that comes from that vocal performance is next level. And I feel like you couldn't have one without the other.
I think it's very simple rap by rap standards, but he sells it so hard, and he does it in his way, and I think it gets through on that.
Yeah,
it just gets through because it's like, it's not really rap, it's Prince playtime nursery rhyme rap, and I like it.
Yeah,
it's the sister of Sexy MF. It's that.
I had a brief hang up with it because I thought, why is Endorphin Machine not opening this album? And a little bit of me, it still makes sense to me, that way of looking at it. But as a song in its own right, it's amazing. It's massive. I love the sort of space age synth stuff when it comes in, then it just drops to this progressive groove. And I feel bad saying it. I mean, I'm not in the context of sort of confused backwards and forwards lyrics about sort of things that are right and things that are wrong. But I kind of like it when I'm unashamedly, I love Prince when he's being lascivious and what have you. You know, he has his Bible in one hand and his bollocks cupped in his other hand, and that is how Prince should be to me. And I love it when he goes for it, and that's one of the things I do like, because again, a lot of my negativity is the tour side of the thing and being sort of out of time at the time. The album isn't that. The album's a fucking masterpiece, as everybody else is saying. I
We're
really,
all
really
on board.
Do like it. No, very much so. Very much so. And again,
converted them.
The others, yeah, well, we'll have that podcast at another time. But but no, and the other side of it is, again, I suppose my slightly different view is playing some of this stuff. This album in particular, and songs of this album in particular, above anything else I can think of, and you know, I've listened to hundreds of bootlegs, started doing arrangements for lots and lots of songs that never even reached the band, and all this kind of thing. This album, oh my god, live translation, when you're sort of starting a version, you can start with the variables you have, and you know, your small scale, we're not them, and all this kind of thing. But the songs are so damn good, so fundamental. There's a lot going on, brilliant production, tons of sounds, tons of technology, but the bare bones tunes here. I'm thinking of things like this, like Now. Just the grooves, massive and brilliant.
I remember a review at the time saying, you know, and you know how the music press, Prince wasn't their darling after the 80s, and I know why, right? But I do remember the reviews for this being really fairly solid, and with the kind of caveat that there was nothing on here that was like cutting edge, or you know, what Prince was in the 80s. He wasn't ahead of the zeitgeist at this point, except in kind of
technology,
digressive ways that you're, or sort of that you've been talking about, Lee, in particular. But like music wise, no. But I remember a review saying that, like, even if the songs aren't all sort of world beaters or anything, most bands would absolutely kill for the arrangement and clarity of this album, and I appreciate that more and more. Like,
just the other thing I want to say as well, the anger thing, the thing that I couldn't latch into, you know, straight out of the 80s, all those 80s hits and 80s deep cuts, into this angry guy doing live gigs without any of that material and all this kind of thing. The album doesn't impact me on the album. On this, you've got like just a chromatic rundown, really nasty. Say da 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 da. It's simple. It's in your face. It's dirty. It's utterly fucking nasty and utterly fucking brilliant. It just works on the album so well.
And great to play outside of your car while driving along the Southend seafront.
Yeah.
Pussy Control. And all my non-Prince friends were absolutely loving it, sitting in the car, and we was all singing along to it because it was like nasty and dirty and naughty, and you know, being a young male at that time, it was like, yeah.
I think it's aged surprisingly well.
Yeah.
This song.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Chopin, the music video is kind of like the Holy Grail as well, isn't it? Because we've only got them few clips.
I think they've only got like 30 seconds of them outside the Glam Slam. You know, is that the bit the video's from is like, I pulled up right beside you know, like,
Yeah.
I said, I know your reputation. That bit, that's the only video. It's kind of outside the Glam Slam. She gets out of a gold car. So does he. It's. I want the estate to release that video,
Yeah.
along with several others around that area. But that's digressing from the music, and like, Pussy Control is because there was a lot of remixes and there was a lot of, like, it was on the Versace Experience and stuff. When it came to the album, this was like the fullest it was sounding, because most of the time when I heard it, it was like a live arrangement or stuff. The weirdest one for me is when we go to the next song, which was Endorphin Machine, and obviously that it was strange enough for me to go like that Welcome to the Dawn thing to come then after it, to have Endorphin Machine rather than Interactive after it. So it was kind of like a strange thing, because I was just, by that point I was physically primed to, because I've been learning guitar to it, to just go da 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 after here's a sample. But then the version of Endorphin Machine is so different than the one that, like, from the video. It's like, I don't know whether it's just fantastic for its glossy production, or the song has suffered because Prince had too much time to play with it. And I just kind of, I've settled on both versions exist, and that's good enough for me, because there's this really raw version that was going to be on or that was initially kind of going to be on the initial versions of Gold Experience, because that was initially just going to be Interactive Endorphin Machine Space as the opening segment. But this version of Endorphin Machine, the only thing I'll say about it is, if you just turned the cowbell down just a little bit, it would be a much easier listen.
Always more cowbell.
It's like, bang, 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 bang.
It's all right you saying that, Leah. You don't have to stand in front of him.
It's
Exactly.
entertaining to watch, though.
And it's like, you know what it is Michael Bland is such a heavy hitter. It's just like, is he the one is it just that they couldn't get a quiet cowbell from Michael Bland because he's such a heavy hitter?
I think I'm a bit biased with this track, because I mean, it is, you know, essentially it's a brilliant typical Prince rock track, insofar as there's tons and tons of synths and other things going on as well. But it's a fantastic track, plenty of dynamics, lots of stops.
And obviously, for people that don't know, Paddy's tribute band is actually called Endorphin Machine.
Oh, you'd think I'd bloody remember that, really, wouldn't you, to say that? But thank you very much.
No, shameless plug.
It's
not fine. Thank you.
By Endorphin Machine.
Yeah.
But it's like...
but we can endorse Endorphin Machine.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The one thing I will say as well, one of my absolute favourite spine-tingling, goosebump, hairs on the back of your neck standing up moments listening to a bootleg was the Yokohama version of this, when the purple medley fades out and it comes into this. Oh my God, that is absolutely a tsunami of kick ass.
Then again,
love it.
If you put the purple medley next to anything, the next song's always going to sound better, isn't it?
Kind of
controversy.
Yeah,
kinda. But that Yokohama gig, that recording, and when this song kicks in,
is that where
stunning?
Does he still do, like, when it fades out, if I remember rightly, where he just, like, screams, "Prince is dead, long live the new power generation"?
Yeah. He does At this point in the tour, he's a bit bored, so he's shortened it to put it into shush and so on. But yeah, for me, one of my absolute bootleg highlights is that moment in that show. It's massive.
It's also part of a contract that he had with the Japanese promoters, is because they saw how things were going down in Europe with the Gold Tour, and they were like, well, we're going to put in the contracts to say that you have to have this many hits. That's how I heard that they had to change it.
Again, completely biased from me and Andy probably perspective of bias in our logic of what we thought of how the tour was presented, but the fact that he hadn't played any of the big hits, then the Japanese promoters forced him to. And again, sorry, because I know this isn't Gold Experience, but bloody hell, did we get some interesting bloody tunes
keep
live
waiting.
on that. Start a version of Starfish and Coffee, and so it's like, what? Yeah, sorry, anyway, I digress.
When it comes to Endorphin Machine, this isn't where I start to love the album yet. It's one of those songs that it should rock my socks off, and it just never touches the sides. It just sounds. It's like, yeah, it's just always just there for me. It's not bad. I just don't ever feel this song. I don't feel it.
This is like a serotonin rush to me, this song. Ugh.
Well, yeah.
I've always seen this. I know, Paddy, you said about Endorphin Machine being the opener. I always see Interactive and Endorphin Machine being the closer. So Interactive starts and then you would finish with Endorphin Machine. And my perfect playlist idea.
You know what? I'd like it as a closer much better, weirdly. I never thought of that.
I just wish Interactive was on here as well. That's all for me.
I don't know what it is about this song that just maybe it just sounds too pushy. Just like it's working too hard for me. Maybe it's the cowbell.
Do you mean this like the album version or just any live version you've heard?
I'm not that familiar with like the live versions over time. I haven't revisited a lot of that live stuff. So no, I'm talking about the song on the album. Really, it is my understanding of the song by and large, and I'm not comparing it unfavorably to versions that weren't released or against live versions. I'm just like not feeling the song. It's all right. It's definitely better. It's better than all right, but it's not where the album starts to get truly great for me.
So, Lee, Endorphin Machine for you, and
oh no, I love it. I loved it since I remember I was in France somewhere, and I remember picking up the interactive CD-ROM that I was desperate for, and I remember watching the video or piecing together the video or the puzzle to watch the video or completing the experience. I can't remember, and I just absolutely loved the song. And I remember him playing it on the tour, and I was like, it was one of the ones I had to get. Because obviously, like we've talked about before, about all the songs switching albums and stuff. But I was glad it was on there, and it's one of my favourites. I do like it when Paddy and Endorphin Machine actually perform Endorphin Machine. I kind of always giggle when I see it live. So there's another shameless plug for you, Paddy. But no, I do like it. It's one of my favourites.
You've just reminded me of something actually. Is the watching it from that video of from the interactive CD-ROM. There was a little intro to it. It was because I also listened to it on a bootleg called Silver.
And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it used for Top of the Pops or something?
It was on the same set. So he's filmed 2 songs on the same day. Mustang Mix of the Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which was used for the Top of the Pops, hence the TOTP in the background.
Is that the one with the Kate Bush album randomly?
Yeah, both of them have got it. Like the one that he's on, the Red Shoes.
Yeah,
and then you've also got he filmed the video for Endorphin Machine, which he might have filmed a load of videos that day. Who knows if he did the entire album like that? Who can tell? But there was this little bit before it. It was like this kind of, again, like an intro. It's like, what now lies ahead? Just beyond the corner, just beyond the stars. And it was just like, there were so many of these little things. But that version of Endorphin Machine was the one I fell in love with. This version, I've since fallen in love with for very different reasons. I still kind of, cowbell and the lead synth could be a little bit lower, but apart from that, my ear is adjusted. So
everyone's gone quiet. It's a bit of a shh.
I think I ended with the word "so," not as a so. Actually, interesting enough, Andy, I'm suspecting this might be where you think the album gets good.
Well, yes and no. I think it's a great song. I think Shush is great, but actually, well, what I really think is that the second half of the album is pretty much fire from but I think there's a few. I think it's a little. I think it's a. I'd cut a couple of songs. I wouldn't cut Shush though, but it's like the baseline quality of this album is really high. I just think it gets really. I realised what a strong finish it is in the last week. I realised that it just gets better and better from about now onwards.
Now.
Yeah, but like I think Shush is just great. The thing about Shush is that any other artist, any other R&B artist, should have just taken this to the number one, basically. And with Prince, it's just like, oh, another brilliant song buried in a career of brilliant songs, and it's just that good, really. I love the big Michael Bland cascading drums intro. It always, at the time, and always still reminds me of "Take Me With You" as just like a special treatment given to a song. Just like,
I adore it, but when my playlist is on shuffle and it comes on full blast, it never fails to scare the living daylights out of me. Every single time. I like every time it comes on, I have a nervous twitch.
I'm sorry to hear that. And, you know, if you or any other listeners have been affected by any of the issues we've raised in this podcast, may we recommend the therapeutic experience?
The Xanax experience.
I just really like that this was like given the real luxury treatment for me, this song, and it deserves it because it's just very, very, very good. I like the space in this track. I like, you know, the big dynamics at the start, which obviously mirror the title of the song, because then it's break it down, and you know the song becomes something very, very spacious and luxuriant.
Is everyone trying to put Prince tracks in their commentary? Because so far we've had Adore, Space, and Now.
Well, Prince wrote a lot of songs. It's hard to have any conversation. I often, when I'm walking along the street, I sometimes I look at a shop sign and it reminds me of a Prince song, or I can pun off a Prince song in it because he wrote a lot of songs, and I sometimes play like Prince bingo just walking around London, to be honest.
Every time I stay in a hotel, I walk past the breakfast, it's like my husband goes, Continental.
There you go. It's you're never that far away from a Prince reference.
Whenever I'm in London and I pass Big Ben, I can't help it but go, London, what does Big Ben say?
That's what I'm talking about. So
I'm sure there's Prince fans listening to this just laughing their asses off now.
Once I was in a supermarket with my mum and my brother, and the checkout started beeping. It was just going beep 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 beep. And my mum just started going da 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 da, interactive. And this was before it even came out, and it's like that's how I know I'd been playing the bootleg that much.
Okay, well then I've got to tell you this. Then I have I don't have an Alexa guy, one of those things. I have the Google version, the little Google Home Mini, right? And I won't say it now because you know what you say to wake up Google. You say hey, and then you say the name of that company, yeah. And I'm just trying not to wake it up as I talk. But my absolute dream, and I do this all the time when I do it like every few weeks. I say to it, hey, name of company, let's stick the 7-inch in the computer, and I want it to say back, ha, 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 ha. And when that day comes, I'll die happy.
Meanwhile, at Google...
Very quick one. In my family, obviously, I've spoken about my dad making me a Prince fan. We didn't go for a shower in our household. We went for a shower!
I can't follow that. No, I just think the duality of the drums and the ballad, and the fact that actually the song is a really slow count, and the drums are over that slow count, whereas it kind of flips your brain to think the drums like dun, 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 and it's not. It's like dun. Oh, I can't do it now. But it's a slow count under fast drums. You know what I'm saying? And a very tasteful guitar solo at the end as well. And I'm not a massive fan of Prince ballads, as you know, but this one, absolutely superb.
Well, I was interested in your take on the guitar solo at the end, you know, as a fellow guitarist, because that guitar solo is epic.
It is.
That lead line, It's just like, oh my god, that is a blissful. That's like she's always in my hair type of joyful
Yeah.
This is a very good
melody.
song, isn't it? It's like we can all.
Yeah.
This is pure class, pure songwriting, pure performance,
Yeah.
and pure dynamism. And like I say, this is the sort of song where another artist, this would have been one of the highlights of their career.
Mhm.
And with Prince,
Devin
it's just
Campbell.
like, yeah, well, no, I mean, a bigger artist would have killed to write this song, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I just to sing one more part. There's this little bass lick that's in it, that's in the back, because it sounds so simple. It's like boom, 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 and then the bass line just does this, and it's just like, oh, when it does that, it's just so beautiful. Like it's like this really like deep bass, and then a quad, and then it just lifts to this kind of just tasteful little
It
flex,
is tasteful.
and it happens at the right moment, and it punctuates the gap between the lyrics, like between each line. It's like, break.
It's got a bit of that Still Would Stand All Time from the After Club space to it. He doesn't rush anything on this. He just the vocal just coasts over this really nice backing, and there's just space and restraint and attack all just deployed really nicely, I think.
This song for me, and it builds and it drops, and like my usual thing with Prince ballads is the only thing that a lot of the time the only thing that kind of builds and drops is his vocal thing. Is like it goes into screaming and wailing, but the background is kind of, especially the early ones, are kind of quite, they plod along and then they kind of wait for Prince to get up there vocally. This one kind of does it musically as well, creates a much better dynamic that keeps me more interested in this ballad. Not to negate the other ones, they're all, there are some great ones. But this one hits home, I think, particularly because it's musical. It has huge musical dynamics as well as vocal dynamics. There's a lot of push and pull with the vocal and the instrumentation, and which I just absolutely love.
Seriously, Push, come on, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, Push.
I absolutely love this song. Fell in love with it when I saw The Beautiful Experience, and I love that whole bit where he does like the click in his mouth and the candle blows out, and then he throws the guitar pick and it lands on the guy's cap. Absolutely love this song, and yeah, you mentioned Tevin Campbell did a version of it as well, and I remember a lot of my R&B friends as well saying that they loved the song and they got introduced to it via Tevin Campbell. But yeah, it's one of the ballads. If I have certain females come to the house, it'll be like, I'm playing that, candle lit and dim.
It's weird.
Light.
I've got someone at work that does the same thing. It's like we're talking about with this song, just going, this is a great one. This is and he's not a particularly big Prince fan. Like, I mean, he knows his stuff. He knows like Sensational and stuff.
Confession time. Prince Shush is my Netflix and chill.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Can we stop saying things like a big Prince fan in this context? Because I don't want. I've gone somewhere else. Right. Where are we going on the album next? What happens next?
We March.
I think this is a brilliant song. I realised how good it was again in the last week. I always thought it was pretty good. And there's one thing that holds this back from quite realising its full potential. I think some of the instrumentation is too clean and plastic on this song. And I think actually there's so much going on under the hood that it gets a little bit... I think something like the sort of vibraphone type sounds and synth keyboard things are just a bit too clean here. I love the kind of the cleanliness of that sample. That's really cool. But I think I want to hear a bit more grit in this song. And coupled with that, I really like the lyrics in the verses. They're odd and they're kind of surprising, but it gets so nursery rhyme for the chorus that this is... I love the song. I think it's just a near miss in terms of being a truly, truly great song that communicates its greatness to everyone.
I think the time it gets really good and gritty is that ding 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 ding. Paddy?
For me, it's I have to say this track I'm not that keen on. I find it a little bit cheesy. The synths are too metallic, and I don't know. It for me, this isn't really in keeping with the rest of the album. The sort of the slightly more visceral dynamics and what have you. This one, I just don't like the track that much. I don't know. It's don't get me wrong. As Andy is oft to say, as far as a track goes, by Prince's standards, etc., etc. But no, just doesn't do it for me particularly much.
I think this is one of those times where you see him. This is kind of one of those songs, because I think it was like a later addition to the album, where he's starting to head into the emancipation direction. Like where, because the album's been around so long, like we said, if it had just come out around the time, it would have sounded very like, the album would have sounded very like calm, very a bit rawer. But the fact that it's gone on for so long, some songs have been added, that I think he was going towards, you can hear here, he's starting to go towards like that emancipation production, because like after this there's like Girl 6, some of the kind of Purple Medley remixes starts to get into that kind of cleany, more plastic.
Plastic is definitely the word for me.
Yeah, so it's getting into that kind of territory, going back into more synthetic sounding. And I think this one still has enough to sound cohesive on this album. But I think of all the songs that show you where he was headed next on this album, I think this is the one that shows you where he was about to go to, weirdly.
No, I agree with you on that. This would fit more on Emancipation than it does in Gold. I kind of agree with Paddy as well. I think I struggled with this one when I heard it, because it's like I hadn't heard it before, where a lot of the stuff I'd heard before on other albums or events or bootlegs or whatever. But this one I didn't, and it just didn't fit. And it would sound better on Emancipation, I think.
I just love the melody of it. I love the detail. It's just the varnish on it is the wrong varnish to keep it from being something a wee bit better for me. Have we got Leah back?
Yeah.
Do we march, Leah, or do we not march?
March all the way. Absolutely love the track. I feel like it is one of those songs that maybe the first time you play it, you think it might be a bit twee, a bit school ground. But actually, the more you listen to it, the more credible it becomes. It's one of those really motivational songs that I just love. It's really feel good. It builds really nicely, and I bet it's a phenomenal one to experience live. Obviously, I haven't, but I bet it was a great one live, because I find it really emotive actually, just on the record, let alone in person, hearing it performed.
I think it's another one that's aged surprisingly well to me. Again, all the things that detract from it, just timbre wise, don't detract from it enough. But actually, what's come through over the years for me is how much detail there is in it and how much compositional skill. It's so Princey. It's so fucking Princey. I'm very happy with this song, I've got to say.
I think it's Prince's softer version of Rhythm Nation. It's the politicalness of, we march, and about racism and stuff like that. I think there's more in the lyrics to that. I think they're quite important as well.
The lyrics could definitely do with a punching up in the chorus, especially to me. But I, God damn it! I mean, who wouldn't want to be able to write a song just of that quality? I mean, I know that's not what we're judging Prince on, but it's just so impressive. It's just like I really like it.
And it ends so well with that kind of that lilting vocals. I know that ain't sounding much. It's just such a, and then it ends with that click of that.
This is the kind of song where I fantasize about like being next to Prince in the studio at the time and saying, "Try it this way."
There are some songs as well that when I listen to them, rather than just listening, I kind of make my own music videos in my head. Now, I feel like the other creatives that are here in this band, there's some songs that you just listen to and you enjoy as a song, but there are some others that you start visualizing what you do for the music video, what it might look like, and this is one of those songs that does that for me.
Yeah, I'd love to do it. I'm the same, Leo. I'd love to do a cut of this, and the political element of it, and it kind of ties into Baltimore a bit in terms of the visuals and stuff like that.
So,
But
this
yeah,
was
nice.
Was this written for the Million Man March? Was that the story?
My brain's saying something of like, there's some element to that.
Sounds
That-
right.
There was a big. I don't even know the details. I just he sort of donated this track to a cause at the time, if I remember rightly.
It
Someone
sounds
check
familiar.
Prince Vault. Shameless plug.
Let's have a quick look.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, you know,
It feels like that.
it's a nice counterpart. It's a nice like kind of.
Well, it wasn't really going to be used for showgirls, was it?
No.
Oh, here we go. In creating the song "We March," he was asked, "Did you have the then upcoming Million Man March in mind?" To which Prince answered, "We March was played at the Million Man March over the loudspeakers, but in fact was written before I had heard about the event." So,
Okay.
just
Zeitgeist.
Again, ahead of his time.
always. And only a mixed reaction from the gang, though, but I'm glad I've got Leah on my side for that one. We'll march, Leah, and the others can sit down and, what...
I love it.
Watch Rick and Morty or something. We'll go out there and live life.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Rick and Morty.
I love Rick and Morty.
I'm on side with this one, Andy.
Oh, cool. Good.
I was just saying that it pointed towards more emancipation things, but I like that. I know some people think of that as a negative, but to me that's kind of a positive, just in a kind of lead off.
Because the synths are so bright, they don't... there is actually some cohesiveness. I know some of you think it sits a little bit outside. Well, Paddy especially, it sits outside the album, but the synths still relate to Pussy Control for me. They still relate to some of the brightness of Gold. It doesn't. It still sits within the album without bumping me too much.
Gold's the closest thing to the sort of place in the hemisphere that it sits sonically. But it is what it is.
And just to point out, there's a little bit of Spanish at the beginning, and it means all one for all and all for one.
Oh, that's delightful. Musker hounds are always ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, I'm an 80s kid.
I knew you'd get that reference, Andy.
Absolutely. What we got next? We got Dolphin next.
The Beautiful Experience.
Oh, sorry. Is it Beautiful Girl next?
Yeah.
That's Beautiful Girl. Okay. Who's going to start us off on this fella?
I hated it when I first heard it. I thought it was absolutely awful, sugary crap. And I hated it. But this is an absolute classic. Worked out how to play it. And I'm like, this is actually a really, really nice song. I did a complete U-turn on this tune. A complete U-turn. Prefer listening to a sort of a live version. But I just love the fact that he was in that big thing in the 90s where he wasn't as critically relevant anymore. Should I say he wasn't as down with the kids sort of anymore and all this kind of thing. And there was this feeling that, well, Prince, he was a power in the 80s, but Madonna, we pay Madonna more here at Warner Brothers because she can write hit after hit after hit. And he just went, well, you got it. I'll just prove my point just because I can and you seem to want me to. Here's the number one. Now go away. I'm going to do it again.
Do you not think it's unbelievably cheeky as well, the fact that he took that attitude, wrote the song, and the whole song is just the same short melody repeated again and again. And all it is
that is true songwriting. That is X Factor songwriting ability.
He found that riff and just milked it over and over and over again, and it's brilliant. And it's the fact that, for the most part, people don't realize it until you point it out, or like you say, you learn it or think about it.
Having said that there's a fairly complex rundown towards the end, and that's very, very nice. But no, you're right. It is essentially a repetitive melody. It's the key sort of cornerstone of the song.
Are you talking about if the stars ever fell one by one from the sky bit?
Yeah.
This is a song where I like the remixes better than I like the original. I think I love the original version of the song. The version on Gold Experience is a little overworked with the pauses, although I like the kind of like the details of the ticking clock, like in the pauses. It's basically the kind of live version in the studio. I mean, it's gorgeous vocals, I mean, amazing harmony vocals. But by the time it's almost, it's like a year, 2 years old by the time we get to this album, and I've kind of already listened to the beautiful experience. I've already listened to the full beautiful experience, the original single, like the Little Mustang mix and the Stacks of Wax CDs that came out at the music club, in the MPG store at the time. So it wasn't my essential listen. It was kind of like, even though I played it through that first listen, I was kind of racing to get to the next song because I'd listened to this song so many times and in so many different versions. But the beautiful club mix, I love that version. But it's a good song. I mean, it's a good song.
Lee?
I think Lee's briefly in transit looking at his picture.
Basically, I'm in an office somewhere and someone is hoovering, so I'm avoiding the Hoover guy and he's kind of chasing me around the building. No, the most beautiful girl in the world, saw it on the Beautiful Experience. I remember the Beautiful Experience being released and thinking it was going to be the songs from the album, then realising it was just the remixes and being incredibly disappointed. But, correct me if I'm wrong, Chopin, it was released under MPG Records and not Warner Brothers. And it was
and
like
Belmark.
he proved a point with the song.
Yeah, he was offered a one-off license with MPG Records and Belmark, and then and that went very well for him with number one single. So he tried to do it again with Love Sign, and they were like, "Hold up, we let you have one, and we're not going to let this other one come out." So that's kind of how that one went down a bit.
Okay, yeah, I just remember it being a big win for him because it was like one of his biggest hits, and it wasn't released under Warner Brothers, and it kind of proved a point that he could still, going back to Paddy's point, that he could still write a hit in the 90s. And I just remember it getting a lot of radio play, and I think by that time I was kind of sick of it because I'd heard it in the Beautiful Experience and stuff like that. I love the video to it about people going in and seeing their potential being shown on screen, and a female president and a beauty contestant, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and from a visual point of view, and the video is quite iconic.
So much makeup in that video.
Yeah, exactly. But
A lot.
Cake.
Yeah,
it's like drag makeup. It's like,
cannot even remember the video. I thought this song was pants when it came out, and then I had a Paddy moment. Many years later, some of us here were at a Prince hangout in Camden, just meeting up at the pub, talking Prince, and it was near Christmas, I think, and it turned into it. They let us put the music on and have all Prince, and Most Beautiful Girl came on during this evening, and so it was just me and you, Chopin, and I think Lee, you were there, and maybe about 20 of us just dancing to Prince tracks. And when Beautiful Girl came on, everything crystallized for me, and I wasn't drunk or anything. It wasn't that drunk. It was just like I realized how Princey it is. And how hypnotic and simple and sing-song and luxuriant it is. And ever since that moment, when I just heard it, I often find with Prince, especially with people who aren't into Prince, and they tell me Prince is rubbish or whatever, and I say, that's fine. Maybe one day you'll listen to it and understand how to listen to it. Or if you don't, that's also fine. But if you have the ears for Prince, he'll open up to you. Mm. And even within that, there are tracks that they still have to open up to me. And that was the night this song opened up to me. And ever since then, I've just thought this is one of the most glorious bloody bonus balls of his career. Absolutely freaking love this track to distraction. It's so... If you're going to go sugar, do it big, yeah? Yeah. This is just pure... Prince does Disney on acid twice. I love it. I absolutely adore it.
I'm so shocked that you love it, Andy. I didn't expect that.
I'm a hard but fair, Leah.
If we get any reissues or special editions, I want Andy's quotes on there. It's Disney on acid. I just want Andy's quotes on the movie poster or the album poster of like, it's Disney on acid.
Sure, I should have been in advertising, but on Mars.
Exactly,
But,
these are brilliant.
It's an embarrassment of riches.
I think the song's an embarrassment of riches. It's sumptuous. It's just, and what basically, what a guy, what an artist. It's beautiful.
It's not my most consistent but there's sometimes I play it and it kind of hits and you just go, oh, this is great. And then there's sometimes it's just like I'm not in a ballady mood, and it's just like this is a very. It's like for me, it's kind of like Purple Rain now, in that sometimes it's been played so much and stuff that sometimes
I was going to say exactly the same thing. I think as a Prince fan, it's the one that's been played to death, and it is very similar to Purple Rain. It's the one. Sometimes it's the one song you don't want to hear.
This is how you do your anger, right? This is how you fuck off the record company, prove your point, and give the people something that is indisputably generous and magnificent. And
it's mainstream as well.
I would agree with you on that. I would absolutely agree with you.
It's a strike in bowling. It's just dead down the middle. It's just it doesn't miss a trick. It's just it's ludicrous. It's like a parody of itself. I love it. Prince. Thank you.
So what do we think about the next one, which is Dolphin? Start with Leah.
Love! I know this one is Marmite, and we're probably going to argue this one out, but I flipping love this song. Did I originally, when I was about 10, the first time I heard it? Probably not. Now, in adulthood, kind of understanding it, I absolutely adore it. In any format it comes, whatever harmonies it comes in, for whatever version, I bloody adore it. And I don't understand why this is such a Marmite track in the community. Everyone I speak to either loves it or hates it, and I can't get that. I just think it's a beautiful song. I love the video. Again, if that came out today, it would be a smash hit. Like, visually, it's so on par with what's going on. People would go mental over it. Estate, release it, give us this stuff. Now's the time to do this.
Wow. So 6 out of 10 then, now, is it?
10 out of 10.
So Paddy,
I love it. I love it.
I thought you didn't, but I'm wrong.
No. We did this at when we played the Gold Experience anniversary show in London once, and I think it was the only time we played it. Now there's 8 of us in the band, and I think more than half of us were like, "What the hell is this?" It's like, "What? Why?" And I was like, "No." It's funny. It goes back to what like Andy was saying about Beautiful Girl. Like, it's so princely. To me, this is Prince to the T. If you could distill the weirdness that is Prince, this is this song. I think it's awesome. I really do. It sits somewhere between. It sits in its own place. It's not pop. It's not really rock. It's amazing.
It's got a touch of 3 Chains of Gold about it in the middle too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But no, big thumbs up for me. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember the live. He did it on a live TV show. Fell over backwards, and the guy who was running the show was going,
David Letterman.
Yeah,
David Letterman. And he's like, just looks like, is he all right? Has he really conked out here? No, really, really good. Love it.
Andy, what do you think of this one?
Oh, me? Okay. Yeah, I'm on the other side for this one.
There was always going to be one of us.
I do. I hear it. You're almost. I feel very generous towards this whole album at the moment, and have done recently. But and you're almost convincing me just because you're also joyful about it so far. I appreciate how odd it is. That first bit, which is very, very minor. How beautiful are the words. It's very ambient. It's like a poor man's anesthesia. I want it to hit hard. I want it to hit hard and hit me with that weird Prince, sad, painful, yearning beauty, and it never makes it. It never makes it above the red line for me. It's just can't do this one, guys. Don't hate it. It's not so. It's not so Marmite for me, but can't do it.
I absolutely love this. This was the huge phone bill of me dialing in 777 on
Oh, yeah.
Vox. I absolutely love it. I saw it on David Letterman, and the whole play on, Prince is dead and him falling down. I absolutely love it. It was, I keep on pestering Chopin and Paddy of like, I want to learn the guitar. And I think Dolphin and Prince Guitar is the two songs I'd love to learn how to play. And again, with the music video, the visual of him sitting on the bed and the band forming around him on the bed, and then he falls back again. It's the whole, resurrection, and if I came back as a dolphin, and I absolutely love it. It's the great visual, and you fall in love with the guitar. The visual of the guitar and also the sound of the guitar.
It's just got this dreaminess about it.
Yeah.
It feels like you're floating. That moment when he kind of collapses back, you kind of do it with him. You're like, I'm as high as you feel right now. It's great.
And that lift that comes into the solo, like when he goes in, it's happened before, and that's on you. You wouldn't let me in.
That's
almost Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's the 3 Chains of Gold bit for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to. I want to like this song. One day I'm gonna like it. If I came back as a dolphin, I'd like this song.
Hey.
Maybe you'd listen to it then.
See, this one was like, I first heard it on The Undertaker, at the end of The Undertaker, in a very short version, and for me it was a really kind of rough hewn, like just bass guitar, drums, and vocal and single vocal. It was and it ended with this really kind of weird psychedelic jam. But when I saw the video, I went to the vintage clothes store and got myself a wing collar shirt and a pair of oval sunglasses. Just and this was and a little maybe a stick of mascara to write on my cheek. I was so into this. I love this song. I love playing this song. I remember one of the first multi-effects pedal setups that I had was a thing called a Zoom. Yes, I got the black with the silver black lens with the silver rim.
For those that can't see me, Leah just made a very quick costume change into the glasses he wears in the video.
This has got to be a first. Prince cosplay on a podcast. My God.
Well, I'm wearing yellow lace trousers underneath this bench, so I won't stand up. I remember getting a multi-effects unit for if you don't play guitar. It's, where you have like delays, reverbs. It's the kind of like the stomp pedals that guitarists use. And one of the patches I set up one of the patches to do that noise, which is at the start, which is an octaver, a tremolo, and there's this zoom effect, which is like this squelchy effect that Prince had on his guitars at the time, that came from only from a zoom unit. It's kind of like this, like the bits in The Undertaker where like kind of the guitar sounds like a duck quack type. I don't know if you remember those bits, but I remember setting up my my guitar pedal so I could just do the dolphin bit like that. I was so like, just so I could sit there going, and I thought it must have sounded terrible. The only reason it was in time was because the tremolo is just in time and does the timing for you.
But I wasn't that cool. The one time we played it, I just did it with the volume knob. It was just like whoa. That's all I could do.
If you got a multi-effects, tremolo and octaver will do the job.
Welcome to Confessions of a Prince Guitarist.
Yeah, sorry, there's a podcast in the Prince guitar stuff that we haven't done yet.
We're getting real geeky on this. But like, I forensically love this song, is what I'm trying to say. I forensically love this song, down to the guitar pedals that he uses, down up to the thin tones of the lead guitar solo, all through to the chorus on Sonny T's bass. It's just a remarkable song, and I could talk another like hour just about this one song. I love it that much, and I want to sit there with the multi-track and just solo every bit and just kind of, every vocal harmony, every guitar solo, every reverb. I just love it that much. it goes beyond just it goes beyond just loving it as a complete song, as a listening experience. To me, my mind delves and tries to break it apart because I love it that much.
Okay, confession time. I did pretend that I was Tommy Barbarella and I was playing the keyboard on the bed when I was watching.
Were you being suspended? Were you flying around your room suspended above your bed
Yeah.
wearing a kilt? That's what I need to know.
It was like, hey, it's playing on box. I'm Tommy Barbarella. I'm playing this on my bed. Shout out to Tommy Barbarella, by the way.
Shout out. I was sat on my bed playing the guitar to it, so
Yeah,
actually, in
you
two
either
different
wanted to be
bedrooms.
Prince or you either wanted to be Tommy Barbarella in that music video because you're pretending to play the keyboard on a bed and then you're playing.
I
the
was
guitar.
Maite, so
Yeah. Well, I think Sam was Morris Hayes with the top hat and the cape type thing. So I think between our friend group, we've got pretty much the entire MPG from that video. They reenacted it every single
there
different...
is a recreation of a music video in there somewhere.
I would so do it. Paddy, you need to lend me that gold cymbal guitar for a weekend.
It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine.
I'll
It's mine.
bring the glitter.
I'll bring the glitter. Oh, you bastard!
Yeah. Oh, he's getting out.
Every time I see
Wait,
a guitar, I have flashbacks of having the responsibility of carrying that through an audience for you once.
Oh yes, God, yeah. I remember that.
It's turned into a podcast episode to guitar show and tell. It's ridiculous.
Sorry.
For those that obviously can't see this, Paddy's got his gold guitar out, and now Chopin is displaying his blue member, whatever. I don't know.
Blue Cloud from
Cloud
The Undertaker.
Okay, next song.
Okay, yeah, we need to move on now.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to move on now.
I kind of latched onto what Andy said about from now. It starts getting like really, really good. This was another song for me that was a bit of a late bloomer, but in a similar way to the groove that we have in Pussy Control. It's like this awesome, deep, stumbling sort of shuffle bass groove. It's got masses of intensity to it, very driven. This is one of the ones that I think suits a little bit of anger. I absolutely love Now. And that sort of slightly insane abandon. It's about the things, the freaks doing everything they want to do now. It's just that whole, do it. And again, just particularly if you've got a bass player and a drummer like I have, this is a good live track to do. It really is.
If you're going to do any two songs at a Prince party, you're going to do Now and Days of Wild, and Now is the one that just gets everyone. You know, it's the mosh pit of Prince tracks. It's the one that gets everyone going.
I've got 5 words to say about why I really like this song.
I was about to say that.
That's a fucking hook. that just rides you through and gives you a good time from start to finish in the song. It's what's the word? It's irresistible.
Remember when Lee used to tell us not to swear on the podcast?
Yeah, but that was then.
Experience happened.
And this is now.
Fucking now.
I know people listening to this are laughing to like all the in jokes that only Prince fans would get. Seriously,
Well,
it's just
why would
ridiculous.
they be listening otherwise?
And then someone just uses the word irresistible. It's like, come on, this is getting ridiculous. It's just...
I think. What did you say? Abandoned, Paddy. That's the word for it. He's really. It's great. It's good to hear him like
let go. He's letting go.
Yeah. And he's letting go with intent. You know, he sells it hard enough, and then some. I really like it. It just kicks, and I love that filtered verse with the 40-45. You know, that kind of radio filter or phone filter. I really love it. There's nothing to stop me having a good time with this guy.
The live arrangement for the Beautiful Experience film is just beyond crazy, and it's that there's this bit that Sonny T does with a pitch shift on his bass. It's like boom, boom, wow, boom, boom, wow. It's for a simple jam. Again, this band fit in so many little details to stop it being monotonous, and in such a tasteful and skilled way. what a band, because this is a monster of a jam for me, and it's got a sense of humor, it's got swagger, it's got groove,
and then you get to a peppy little brass part. I mean, who
Yeah.
else? Who else would do that? Who else would do that?
Yeah.
And who else would do something which is so sort of diametrically opposed to what's come before, but fits absolutely perfectly? As if it's just
Yeah, this is another, like, it's not really hip hop. It's Prince putting it through a very weird filter and coming out laughing. I think I really like it.
It's like if La 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 He was done in a hip hop style.
Mm.
You know, it's got that cartoonesque type thing, but it's got that kind of heavy boom, 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 boom.
It's one of those tracks that really, really makes me angry at my age. The fact that I never got to experience this in a live context, obviously from Prince, and I just can't even imagine. You know, when you can't even comprehend the feeling of being in an audience and actually hearing this live in person. It's a part of the set that I love when Endorphin Machine do it, because it's the closest that I could ever possibly get to hearing that. Apart from obviously MPG are touring now, I don't recall that being in their set though when they toured last time. Although I did shout at them to do interactive, but they didn't remember it.
And maybe they'll rehearse now for the London gig.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Hint, 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 wink, wink.
But yeah, it's one of those tracks that I just can't even imagine hearing live from the man himself. I think I would just explode into Maite's glitter that's been thrown everywhere, and just it's incredible. It just builds and builds and builds. It kind of gives me that ultimate club track. You know, you get the drop and everyone's waiting for the drop, and it builds and it builds. And that chorus, when it does drop, I don't think there's any bar, any club that you couldn't play this track in that wouldn't get a good response.
But it is the ultimate club track. It is the ultimate Prince club track, because, like I said before, you play it at any party and you can feel the dance floor with it. It's
it's rocking.
This and Days and Wiles,
and Billy Jack Bitch.
Yeah, it's the one that gets, because I think the last party that we went to recently, Maureen's one. I think I remember me, you, Chopin, Maureen. Dancing to Now. I'm sure we was dancing to. I remember doing something. It was crazy, but it's always the one that
you've always got a circle of people screaming, like at that end one. Like, no.
Where are the 90s Prince fans? Oh, they're over there.
The other one is Violet the organ grinder.
Oh, Violet the organ grinder. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, usually your Prince party, and you're like, where is Chopin? He's
twisting himself in. Yeah, he's twisting himself into the pretzel on top of the bar.
You become the Pied Piper when that song comes on.
I have vivid memories dancing with you, Chopin, to that song in many a party.
I just enjoy it too much. But now is one of those great party tunes that just and then it goes into another great one, which is one of the two songs from Showgirls, which I thought this was going to be on the Showgirls soundtrack.
Least favorite movie of all time,
of course, and that's 319. And when that Showgirls soundtrack came out, because a lot of Prince songs were showing up as soundtracks. You know, at the time, Get Wild was on Pret-a-Porter. Girl 6, and I was scanning, and I was like, why is like 319 and Rip Pop Girl Zipper not on this? And
Rip Pop Girl Zipper,
which was meant to be on the Gold Experience. It was meant to be after Acknowledge Me. It was meant to be Acknowledge Me, Rip Pop Girl Zipper. 319 was meant to be your track list. Now Acknowledge Me, Rip Pop Girl Zipper. 319, which is another thing about this album. It's just the songs that were left off was so good. There is just like this scattering of just like the kind of Crystal Ball, Dream Factory, Camille projects. There's a scattering of Come Gold, Exodus tracks that are just, like scattered around as well, that never really found proper homes. 319 though, this one is a hip-shaking jam as well. It doesn't get played as much as it should, because I think it'd get equal amount of love if it was played at the party.
I do have memories of it being played at the Birmingham party, and numerous women, not including me, of course,
Of course not.
Fighting over a chair in the middle so we could dance.
How did you get your leg to do that?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not
And
sure.
it was at that point as well, and I did witness that.
I'm just glad no cameras did.
If I remember right, did you guys do? Did Machine do this for the gold party?
Never done 319, no.
That's a shame.
It seems like a no-brainer. It's a simple riff.
I've got no brains, so it's fine.
I mean, if you want a bunch of Prince fans fighting over a chair at the front of your gig,
It's always very interesting. I do. Obviously, we're just piddling little people doing our thing and enjoying it, and with a few people and so on and so forth. It's like, when you look at the sort of vastness of Prince. I always love the fact though that you do tend to get, obviously, at a Prince party when somebody hears sort of stuff like Now and Days of Wild, it has a more of a tectonic effect on what happens on the dance floor. There's usually a bunch, people who come and see a Prince tribute. I think a lot of them, what they want to hear. But I do love it when you get like a bunch of 7 or 8 people in the middle waving their hands to Days of Wild or jumping around to Now. It's like, yeah, that's the shit right there.
But with songs like that, it's the connection, because you're always looking at someone else, and it's like you're sharing that experience, because it's like the lyrics, and it's more of a. Yeah. I'm sure both Leah and Chopin, I remember, we look at each other and we're singing the songs to each other, because it's like you're having that moment. And that's what I've always liked about the parties, and it's not a shameless plug or anything like that, but it's that connection with the songs. It's like, hey, you know the lyrics too, and you know this song, and it's that, and that's that's always, and the same when you go and see tribute bands like Endorphin Machine. It's that connection of,
which, by the way,
you're in that wall.
Me and Chopin went to see Endorphin Machine recently, and I am going to plug you, Paddy, because it was the greatest. It was just such a. I reheard like a lot of Prince's arrangements. Like I re-experienced them and realized how world class they were when your band was playing them, because you do really, really faithful and detailed arrangements. And anyone who gets a chance to go see Endorphin Machine, who's listening to this podcast, go see them. It was really, really magnificent.
I really appreciate the fact that they're kind of the live arrangements from the tours. There's just an extra kind of.
We were talking about like the extra bonus suites Prince, the way Prince would reconfigure songs for live versions, and like you do all the bonus suites that he put into the tours as well. So it's very, it's very satisfying. Oh, Leah, sorry, you were there too.
I'm at most of them.
Yeah, of course, though, yeah.
I was stood behind you, and literally the opening track, just the opening few chords to Around the World in a Day came on, and I just remember you turning around to us and going, I think I'm going to like this.
Yeah, because like that was the next best thing to being at a parade gig. I didn't go to, I wasn't, my first gig was Love Sexy, and I was like, you were playing the parade tour, you were playing the licks from the tour, and I was like, oh, good God, no. Good God, yes. Let's move on to 319 proper, shall we?
Yes,
we've gone all over the world.
Okay,
here.
So confession time. One of us here was working at the cinema at the time, and obviously being a massive Prince fan as well, and working a shift and watching Showgirls and Elizabeth Berkley coming on stage to 319 was like, this is amazing, and absolutely loving this track. And it's another good one. And the other fun fact is, with 319, when anyone stays at a hotel and they stay in room 319, they always share that little picture of their room number 319.
Yeah.
It happens all the time on social media or anything, a license plate or a room number. Someone always shares the little 319.
As if we didn't need another Prince related number.
No, exactly. You got 3120, and it's that little nudge and nugget of, hey, I'm staying in 319.
I wonder if any other artist ever used numbers as much as Prince in titles and lyrics.
Well, that's another podcast episode, I think.
I bet they didn't. I mean, I just can't imagine they did. I mean, he's got songs that are just named after numbers. He ran out of words. He wrote too many songs. Let's go
Well,
check out the numbers.
I'm sure I've mentioned this on the podcast before. It's like, yeah, if you want to unlock any Prince fans' mobile phone, either go through 3121 or 1999. It's that, and people are like, but now the Prince fans are going to be changing their mobile numbers.
Just make it secure. Lee's phone is 777-9311.
It's funny because it's true. Anyway, but no, I love this. I love this track, and I love the association with Showgirls.
Yeah.
I always make jokes of that. It's a great movie and it's got great tracks in it. So,
I always thought this would have gone well with Hide the Bone as well, which is another kind of this era track that just kind of
If you're ever at a Prince party and Hide the Bone comes on, anyone listening, please know that will be my request. That will have been me. And Lee is like, remember our conversation at the last party? Birmingham one. It is always me that requests that track.
Well, I'm going to pop the bubble a little bit, but I'm also not going to. At the time, I thought 319 was nothing. And I remember reading in an otherwise fairly good review, one of the things they said was that 319 is just a Kiss derivative, which there is some truth to it. It has the same phrasing, really, and the melody is very similar. Take off your clothes, you don't have to be rich. And the pauses come in the same place. It's kind of a Kiss rehash. Thing is, what I said earlier on is that listening to the Gold Experience again now, I think the race towards the end line is excellent. I think from now onwards, it's really high class, but it's taken me a long time to hear that. And I don't think 319 is very special in its own right, but then again, I don't think it overstays its welcome. I think it fits brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
I think the actual tracking and the general baseline quality is super solid at the end of this album, and it's taken me a long time to realise that. And I do think 319 is derivative of Kiss, but I think if you've written Kiss, you're allowed to be derivative of yourself. And I think that it's not just derivative of Kiss. I think it has a different attack, and it's got a different, it's not. I hear that criticism, but I think over time this is a banging little bastard of a thing, and then. Let me just bundle these together for a moment. At the time, I thought 319 was nothing. I thought Shy didn't touch the sides, and I thought Billy Jack Bitch was kind of like channeling something but not getting there.
Sacrilege!
Well, it's okay. I've seen the light. Okay. Now I think that 319, Shy, and Billy Jack Bitch absolutely just work together. They work together. They reflect off each other. They're foils for each. It's a lovely bit of tracking, and it's going to take us on into the actual end game. And I've fallen in love with this section of the album, is what I'm trying to say.
The guitar is on Shy is just it sounds so minimal, but there's so much going on.
I mean, I always
knew that it sounds like a simple song.
I always knew that Shy was class, and it never sounded simple to me, but it sounded actually too fussy and like something that was reaching for something really, really good and not quite getting there. I take it all back. I think it's magnificent.
Shy's a bit of a sleeping giant as a song for me.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a sleeper.
Exactly so.
There really is something about it. There's kind of a motif that it does in Shine, which is a little bit like Here Comes the Sun, George Harrison, with a little sort of end phrase guitar rundown. But the whole, it's like putting, I don't know, a heartbeat on a track. Yeah, it's very passé and it's but the footsteps at the beginning, it's it's so perfectly brilliant. And as I say, a real sleeper, I would say gold nugget, but I'd just get laughed at.
Sorry, can I just jump in for a second and say, yes, absolutely a sleeper for me, Paddy. But again, 319, I have fallen in love with recently, but you can hear this as a but or and. 319 I've fallen in love with, and it's a quote unquote simple bump and grind, but that feeding into Shy is beautiful, and it's beautiful.
To just nip it back slightly, 319 of the sort of now Pussy Control, perhaps Billy Jack Bitch type of jammy bass songs. I think 319 is a little bit lighter than those, but the strength of 319 is the context, the synergy that it has with the album as a piece is exactly that, and it works for that. And it's a great little track. It's a great little track. A little bit more edge because it has a bit more guitar.
Again, it's quite visual, I think, as well. Like, I kind of imagine, again, if I was making a video for it, you're in the club listening to 319, and then you've got your heels and you're walking out the club, and then
Yeah, it's the after track, isn't it? It's the after track.
Yes.
Not exactly that.
You know, it's like I've just come out of the LA Glam Slam, and now I'm driving around contemplating this one person that was standing on a street corner or walking out of the club. It's like, I imagine totally that.
I'm looking at the track list on Wiki as we speak, and it's 3 minutes 5, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It again, just really good album making. It just it does something really special in the album and takes you on into Shy without overstaying its welcome. It doesn't try to be bigger than it is. I really like that.
did we get any or many live performances, Chopin, of that?
319 was, you had glams of Shy that I know of. There's I think there's like some Paisley Park, like Love One and Love Gig. The only one I can think of is just a rehearsal for Canal Plus, and that was the band going through it. It's the only one that I can really remember. Just kind of back to 319 for a second. There's apparently, according to Kat, that was actually a re-record. It was a re-record of a Batman era song.
I can hear that actually.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah. And for me, the song that it kind of I would have compared it to was not really Kiss, although I can absolutely hear that.
Yeah.
Is like Peach or Baby Knows. Is
Baby Knows,
yeah, Baby Knows. Like, you know, that kind of like single and guitar, that kind of just like grinding kind
sexy
of power
stripper
chord.
vibe.
Yeah, but Shy, I think it's a much more successful of what Walk Don't Walk tried to do.
Yeah,
similar to that.
Not that I love Walk Don't Walk, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a much more sophisticated version of what that was.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that it's like the sister song to Count the Days.
Yeah.
Just in kind of subject matter vibe, and just kind of an airy prettiness to it, but it's actually about something quite dark. This is the best of the bunch for me by far. I mean, out of those songs, Shy is Sleeping Giant. I couldn't put it more perfectly. I think it's just world-class songwriting and play and performance, actually.
Cool dark skin in Hot Virgin White. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant.
I really love that little high bit where it goes, top of the page he wrote, like,
yes!
and then it's just such a little kind of, you know, and it just seems like
this is also like Prince channeling like really great sort of the White American Songbook as well, and there's kind of like Joni Mitchell in there somehow. There's there's like Fleetwood Mac, there's country in there, and it's just like it's a side that yet another side that he excelled at when he wanted to, really.
And the fact that you those like kind of feathery guitars at the end, just quite like Count the Days, and in fact I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same guitar that he recorded both of them on, that Epiphone that he had. It's just had the lovely kind of flourishy sound the way he played it, and then to go from that into Billy Jack Bitch, like,
which is like, I mean,
heavy, hard.
It's just a huge wall of nasty. Is Billy Jack Bitch?
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I did like it at the time, but I wasn't convinced by it. But now, again, I've come round, and I think, again, 319 Shy Billy Jack Bitch is a real great sandwich of something. It's just, it always reminded me of like the colours of Dirty Mind Head or something, just flickering red and black. And then it's also got a bit of Billie Jean in it, just in feel, you know, not just the pun of the name Billy, but it's just got that smooth attack and pull back and pump to it.
And I one day I hope that the full length version of Billy Jack Bitch comes out, because there's that extended horn stuff that's basically, it was a Hornhead. There was a Hornheads album, and one of the songs was a song called New Delin, And that's basically, if you listen to it, it's basically just the horn section from Billy Jack Bitch. And some of the horns in there is just that ended up getting cut out of this version. It's just amazing. Some of the little details, like the Billy. Oh, this nasty keyboards, great horns, banging bass.
It's the vocal line, the answering vocal line.
Yeah.
So you've got that but na 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 na. It just sits together in a little. Oh, it's amazing.
So many hooks, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, too many hooks.
Hooks.
This is proper Prince because it's got the nasty, but it's also painful. And Prince, it's angry, painful, and nasty and pumping. This one definitely, when I hear it right, which I do hear it right a lot of the time now, this is Prince throwing a tantrum in 4/4 time. I love it.
And that horn section where it goes
It's quite a complex horn run. It's that not in terms of sort of being sort of octane, loads of notes per second, but it's quite.
Is it chromatic?
Structured.
Is that the word, or have I?
I wouldn't say it's. I don't think they're chromatic runs. No, it's lots of little sections of different things. It's somebody sat and thought about. All right, let's do something really interesting here. Yeah, love it. And again, it's similar to adding horns on. Oh, now it's like who else would put brass in this way on?
Yeah, that. When you're onto something, when you're saying, well, who else, and the answer is always no one, because that's Prince. There wasn't an else. There was no else. Yeah. And that's why he's our guy.
And the power of a good turnaround, the power of a good anchor in a song.
The drum.
It's awesome.
And to end it with Morris Hayes just going, some tired motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to Billy Jack Bix. And of course that performance he did where he popped up out of the bag in the splits with that cool. That was the nearest I've got to like my sort of, oh man, if Prince just had a goth phase, my life would be complete.
And does anyone
Doesn't Batman count?
Yeah, almost. That's his Gotham phase.
He's Gotham.
Does anyone here believe that it's not about Cynthia Johnson?
I think it was confirmed, wasn't it?
Well, I think Prince told her point blank that it wasn't when she asked him, but I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
What if I called you silly names, and it's CJ Billy Jack Bitch, and he told her no, but
yeah.
That's a little pissed off.
Right.
But from her point of view, it was like the first time she met him he went, oh, I thought you were an old girlfriend, but you're not. And then it's just like she was like the penny dropped. It was about me completely. Or something.
It's about her. This is a little bit of pissed off purple, and I like it.
Yeah.
Try and square that with Pussy Control, and you've got no hope. Prince, you naughty boy. I hate you. I don't hate Prince. I hate you is the next track we've come to.
This was like the first single that was sold as part of the Gold Experience run-up, because The Most Beautiful Girl in the World was kind of like released as kind of standalone. So this is the first time you start to see, like Gold Experience album graphics kind of repeated in the singles. I remember having the single, and then I remember, you've just accessed the Hate Experience. Like, do you wish to continue your experience? Very well. I thought that was a really nice one. It's like, do you really want to do this? Like, it's a nice little kind of hesitancy as to kind of whether this is in that push and pull. Like, he's going to do this kind of, I love you, I hate you. And then even the MPG introduction is kind of mirroring that. Like, kind of has a kind of character to it. But
isn't this the one that's about Carmen Electra?
Apparently he told her that's what she said. So
piss off Prince, he'll write a song about you.
Oh, of course. Like, right.
I think like I was never like, oh no, it's so scary. Maybe I don't want to listen to it because it will be too dark. I always thought that was a little bit silly, personally. Like, it's not going to be so powerful and unpalatable. And even if it was, of course I'm going to listen to it. It's a new Prince song.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine? There's a fan out there who was like, "I'm glad they put a trigger warning. I'll hit skip on this." Who to this day hasn't listened to "I Hate You."
Wait
I
a
don't
minute.
think.
Prince is ahead of his time. He's the first one to do a trigger warning on this.
Well, I think
That's
probably
true.
you'd probably look back to 1950s B movies where they go, "Oh, you don't come and see this movie; it's too scary." So we can't. He didn't invent everything, but almost everything.
I'm somewhat on the fence with this track.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I
I'm
don't,
indifferent about "I Hate You." Are you saying?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It doesn't quite fulfill what I want it to for me. I love the narrative, you know, how it switches at the end to "I hate you because I love you," and I think that's all very, you know, when the penny drops, you're like, oh, I get it. Um, but I just wanted it to be a little bit angrier. There's a grit that runs through the whole album, and when he's talking about hate and, you know, this passion that comes with loving and hating someone at the same time, I just wanted it to be a little less sugar coated, which it just was for me. I just wanted it to be slightly less produced, a little more raw, and it would have conveyed the emotional side of the song a little bit better for me personally. I don't dislike the song, but I just wish that it just gave me that raw edginess that other tracks on the album do.
I think I agree with you, and yet I love this goddamn song. It's so good. But I do. That's always been the missing element for me as well, Leah. You've definitely crystallized that. That's true, and yet it still wins for me because it's the strings are such expensive arrangement. They're really nice. The performance vocally is beautiful. The whole arrangement is great without having that extra thing you want, I guess. But what really puts it over the top for me, it's a classic set piece. It's the court scene.
Yeah, love it.
It's like it's that
Uh-huh.
good. That's the bit where you just go, "Oh, this is the end of International Lover." When we're on the aeroplane, this. It's a set piece within a song, and he's done that a few times. I can only think of International Lover now, but there are others.
Adore.
Yeah, kind of.
Smash Up My Ride. Yeah.
But going on the lines of Leah's little "What would you do for a music video?" I'd love to tie this up now to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp in court. I think it would. I think I could actually edit
I
the
don't think
footage.
there's any love there.
Yeah, I know, but the whole court scene.
Obviously, for the video, they kind of did the court scene thing as well, but I just remember his pink trousers and this kind of foggy effect on the camera. Again, the video was just that sugar coated again. So
It never came out at the time.
I want more where the grit didn't come in the song, give it me in the video, and it didn't deliver there.
I think the grit is in the court scene. The court scene is it's the cab ride in Lady Cab Driver. It's the airline trip in International Lover. It's talking to God at the end of Temptation. It's like a written movie that's been added to a song.
Live for Love in the plane.
Yeah, definitely.
A fighter pilot. Yeah.
I love that. I love the bit in the court scene where it's, "Do you have to tell the whole truth and not the half?" Like that's where I think that he sells the lyrics because it starts off with this really gentle, mournful, wilting lyrics. Melody, like da 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 da, and it's just like, and the guitar solo at the end as well. I think is. I started off going. I kind of. I'm with Leah on the fence that, you know, sometimes, like The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, I kind of just listen through, and then sometimes it's just like, oh, actually, this doesn't just come between two stonking great tracks. It is a great track of its own. If it wasn't, it would have sank between Gold and Billy Jack Bitch.
It is a great track. It's just want that bit more from it.
Do you know what? I think the courtroom scene does give it the bite.
It edges on it for me, but not quite.
Yeah, I know you want. I do know. I'm half agreeing with you. I like the song that much. I think that the courtroom scene is so well thought out, and it goes all the way. Or it's the end of The Beautiful Ones again. It's a piece. It's a thing. I mean, it's not as big as the end of The Beautiful Ones. Nothing is, but it's a set piece. I love it.
We're running against the clock here, so I'm going to move us on to the final song, Gold. I'm going to start with Paddy on this one. what do you reckon?
Well, for a start, glad you didn't ask me about I Hate You, so you'll probably get where I'm coming from with that. Gold transcends its own cheesiness for me. It's incredibly cheesy, but it builds and crescendos into something which is very, very good indeed. It's in the same key as Purple Rain, and there does feel a little bit of a Force Awakens about it. Lee'll get that. Just a little bit of the Force Awakens about it. Great track. Grew on me over time. It's the right track in the right place at the right time. In the context of the album, that's a bit of a no-brainer, and a great live track as well. Yeah, fantastic track. What can I say? As I say, it does feel what I was alluding to in The Force Awakens. It does feel a little bit like a possibly have another go at Purple Rain here. Slightly different bunch of sounds.
It's definitely a shot at Purple Rain, but I don't think it reaches it.
Oh God, no.
I actually prefer this to Purple Rain.
Well, you're wrong. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
This
is the last episode of the podcast.
Sorry, Leah's not on her own, actually.
No, fair dues.
I prefer this to Purple Rain. Every time I went to go and see Prince live, I had a little list of songs that I wanted to hear him do, and this was like a rational one. Like I wouldn't go, I want to hear him do Darling Nikki, because I knew that wasn't going to happen. So I had a little rational list of songs, and Gold was always on them, and I knew it was the song that was in his set at the time. But I never got to see it. Never happened, unfortunately. But at the start of every gig, I was like, I really hope tonight that he switches Purple Rain for Gold. And it never happened, but I absolutely adore that song. The build up, like the vocal loops, like at the end, na 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 na, all of that. Oh, it's just luscious. And the end before the fade out of all the vocals, that could just go on for forever, and I would be perfectly happy.
And then you got underneath that, all that glitters and gold.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. I wish I'd seen this live as well. I also like, if we're doing wish lists, is I wish he'd put I Hate You in the piano set as well.
Yeah,
I think that would have done. I think that would have been a great one to add into like the piano set as well. But Gold is just such a glossy, beautiful track. Andy?
I'm really with Paddy on this. I think it's contrived. I think he's wanting to hit a bullseye, and he's trying hard to do a Purple Rain redux for sure. It's even about a color, but I think it transcends itself too. I think basically he earns the right to end with this song because of what's gone before. And definitely. I think it to me, like, just looking again at that right race to the end, 319, Shy, Billy Jack Bitch, I Hate You, Gold. It sits there real goddamn nice. It's the final cap on this decanter. I like it because it works. And I do love that it's become like, again, it's one of the songs that's become like quite a big favorite of the general music listening public who might not be that into Prince. This is one that crossed over. So like, he went for a bullseye, and I'd say he got the outer circle, you know.
I think if this had been released just after The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, like if it had been like I think it would have probably been another bullseye as well. It was too disparate, and too much kind of stuff about the name change had kind of gone before it.
I think it's one for the people, and they've embraced it, and I like that.
I agree with you. I think it is exactly what he's trying to. I think even in interviews he alluded to, I've got this new song as a replacement for Purple Rain, and it's called Gold. You know, like he's literally just saying it. It's like, I wrote a new one. Contrived as it may be, the detail in the mix of this is just sublime. There is just overloaded with hooks. There is just so many little things, like from dun 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 dun. You know, like,
you're right.
There's just so many. It has a sailing guitar solo, little And then it ends with this squealing, "What, you're now an official part of the new power generation." To which, to me at the time, at the end of all of this searching, these little bits, "Welcome to the dawn" and stuff like that, to then at the very end of it get this kind of, "You're now an official member of the new power generation. Welcome to the dawn." That's why I think it ends with the release of the album, the era, and it was just like, this is such a back to front way of doing things, but it was so good and it made me feel so much more involved than a usual. Album comes out, love it till it runs out of steam, and you want the singles run out of steam, and then kind of want the next album. This was like, just search, what's this? And have growing anticipation till the album comes out, it finishes, and then that little message at the end, that done me in.
It is. It's kind of like that international lover moment of "Welcome to Satisfaction."
Yeah, exactly.
If I took mood enhancing drugs, which I don't, I bet gold would sound really good. I bet it would be really good on
the poster.
I bet it would be really goddamn good on MDMA or something. I think you'd probably just die with a grin that stretched from here to,
like
Russia or
it's
something.
An enhancer.
Oh dear God.
I love it. It's one of my favourites. And it is like a video game achievement, because obviously over the years it's like, "May you live to see the dawn," and then all of a sudden it's like, "Welcome to dawn." It's like, yeah, I've made it.
It's exactly that.
Now what? Fish fingers for supper.
That.
Yeah, it's you finally made it, and you're part of the MPG, and it was, it is the. And I remember getting a lot of mainstream. I was running another little insight to Lee's life. I was running a radio show at my college, and I was obviously pushing the Prince tracks. And on our last radio broadcast, everyone came in and was asking for gold, and we ended up finishing the radio show with gold, and it was so good. It was a very bookend moment for me, and it got a lot of mainstream. I remember a lot of non-Prince fans at my college wanting me to, do a copy of the track for them and stuff like that. So it has a lot of good memories for me back in 95, 96, 95, yeah. So I love it. I think it's great. It isn't Purple Rain, but it's a track. And for the parties as well, it's always one that Dre or DJs finish the parties with. It's the feel good end of the day kind of thing.
That's the thing. I think Purple Rain entered the kind of a teary kind of unifier, whereas this ends up with a smiley unifier, and that's what
it's like an orgasm.
Yeah, pretty much.
You get that build up with the guitar solo, and then just this really satisfying ending. It's great.
So that's what you call it, a guitar solo.
I don't smoke, but I want to light up after this album. It's like, whew, yeah, that was a year and a bit.
Yeah,
because obviously,
we worked on that one.
But majority of the parties at the end of the night, it's not Purple Rain that gets played; it's gold.
Yeah, but that's because we've all heard Purple Rain 1 zillion times.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Purple. It's interesting though, because this was an attempt at Purple Rain 2 or whatever, and Purple Rain is actually sort of mystical and deep, and it confounds genres, whereas you can hear the stitching in this. I like how he leans into the gospel. There's a mountain, that's gospel, right?
Yeah.
But you can hear the artifice, and that's fine because it's a great song.
Yeah.
But Purple Rain blends country and gospel and rock without you knowing how. You don't know how.
This is more crafted from a guy who's further on with more knowledge and a greater palette.
Yeah.
Purple Rain still has, like you said, mystical. It had a touch of the personal. It was something that was pulled from an amorphous cloud. Was Purple Rain?
Purple Rain is a career defining sort of inspired hit shot.
To be clear, I really like this song. I mean, don't get me wrong. The stuff, all the stuff at the end is absolutely spot on, beautiful, lovely orchestration. Hits hits all the right buttons.
Well, certainly seems to have done with Leah.
and sorry, Leah, I actually have seen this live, and there was glitter guns and.
Yeah, I've seen this live because it all rained. I've seen this live twice. Yeah. All rains.
It all rains gold, and they got these big 2 guns at the thing.
You guys don't deserve it.
Yeah,
you guys Go listen to Purple
Yeah.
Rain, and I'll take
Sorry.
your gold
I
memory.
the thing is, even if you don't see glitter guns, it sounds like glitter guns at the
True,
end of
true
the song.
story. If I could walk to it now and find it within 2 minutes, I would. But I've actually got some of those gold glitter in a box downstairs. Absolutely honest to God, I picked some up. They're actually in a little box, but I have no idea where it is.
So
Do you know what? As well, I have a memory of being at one of the London Prince parties and being in charge of the gold glitter cannons for your set.
Boom.
Or gold,
That's for the
and I
gold
was the
party.
person. Good.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was me.
Who's in charge of the gun?
God. The person having a good time.
So shall we do closing comments then? Because I think we're pushing it for Chopin here.
Well, I just say an honourable mention to "Rock and Roll Is Alive" as the B-side of Gold, because
hell yeah.
that was because that's a song that linked Exodus and Gold.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it was a response to Lenny Kravitz's "Rock and Roll
Is
Dead" from the Circus album.
And the intro is the end of the live arrangement for Get Wild. So it's kind of like a little bit of Exodus, a little bit of Gold. So it just kind of wraps up the era nicely. But yeah, wrap up. I'm going to start with Andy.
One of the I'm really happy to finally be a proper fan of the Gold Experience. I wasn't a proper fan of the Gold Experience till the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and I'm there now, and I'm really happy to finally be welcome to the dawn. So thank you, Prince. Thank you, MPG. Thank you, you guys. I found it very interesting how many songs we've mentioned in the course of today's podcast, because this was such a fecund era, and just we haven't had to reach to you can't talk about this album almost without talking about all the songs around it as well, and it's just really opened it up for me again. So big fan of the whole thing. despite my moaning.
Paddy?
Yeah, one of the two huge powerhouse albums of the 90s. I think this one is more Prince looking inwards, with the exception perhaps Gold, the song. This is more Prince looking inwards, which I think's when I hear my favourite things from him. Whereas I think Diamonds and Pearls was Prince looking outwards a little bit more and thinking of record companies and all that kind of thing. Again, pound for pound, possibly edges this as an album for me, but there is still that aspect of sort of pure. Any album that has like Dolphin on it and the weirdness, in a strange way, I could put Dolphin in my head on Parade. I hear Wendy and Lisa. That's bad. Fantastic album. I think a bit more of an inward-looking album, personal work. It takes a lot of the aspects on it are things which are uniquely Prince, from the well of Prince specifically. And yeah, love this album and always will. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Leah?
I'm just so happy to have talked about this album because it's so rare that when you get Prince fans all the time ask you, what's your favourite Prince album? My response is always The Gold Experience. And it's so rare to get people who appreciate it quite as much as I do. I absolutely love it. It's been so good to talk about it. It's my birthday as well, tomorrow. So it's been very
Happy
nice to
birthday,
talk
Leah.
about.
Happy birthday,
Birthday,
Leah.
Leah. What are you,
So
12
it's
now?
really good.
13?
We're going to get arrested.
No, it's not a miss the actual tours that I did get to see. Yeah, like you say, Dolphin. Just there's not a track on it that is a disappointment. There's only I Hate You that I wish I'd have got just a little bit more from personally, and the artwork of the cover album. I just wanted something else. It would have been nice to actually get gold on the Gold album. If it had been foiled or something like that, I think it could have been significantly more impressive and significantly more successful. But I absolutely adore the album.
Lee?
Oh, everyone knows I love this album. It's an incredibly important part of my life. Relationships, time, job, work, career, first Prince concert, crushing on Marte, everything. Just there's a lot of what I am now because of that album, and the music videos, the timing, the technology, the chasing it down, the bootlegs. There's just lots and lots and lots of positive, fond memories of driving in the car, playing Pussy Control out of the window. It's one of my top 3. So I love it.
What can I say about this album? This is, for me, it's more than just an album. It's kind of like a fantasy world in a way. It's such an immersive thing. It's to just call it an album is kind of is an understatement, because there's 2 mini movies, Beautiful Experience and Love for One Another, that kind of really bolster what this is as well, that we haven't even kind of really gone into. It's a stellar collection of songs that is missing a stellar collection of songs. And I don't know how Prince got to this point with how you make Exodus come gold and still have all of these songs left over. It just must have been a difficult thing. Like, with the backdrop of what was going on at the time, I think he didn't, it's almost like he didn't know what was going on the record till it got on there, until it got pressed, because, he had too many options. There was just too much good stuff. And I felt like Chasing the Whole Era was like being part of the deciding process, and I think that was a really interesting key to who Prince is, as much as the actual work itself. So, of course, you're going to be a mercurial character if you've kind of got all of this to rely on. But when all is said and done, the album that kind of came out of it sums up that era. It's got that magic, it's got that wonder, it's got that window into another experience kind of on it. It's a collection of great songs, and they sound brilliant. And finally, please, this is going to be the deluxe box set that really blows my mind, because I can't even fathom how you're going to do this in 10 vinyls. This is going to be the 10, 15, 20 vinyls. And to be quite honest, I don't know how you're going to do it in one Blu-ray, but this is just a magic album just on its own.
Please stay. It's my birthday.
Yeah, can you release it tomorrow? Because I'm gagging for this. Guys, it has been magical. And I don't say that word lightly. It's
been gold.
It's been gold. This is such a wonderful album, and it joys me to see it given so much love, because it's just one of my favorites, if not my favorite. It's always in my top 3, rotating 3. But the other 2 are basically the same album. I don't separate them. Come Gold, Exodus, I don't separate them. They're part of the same process, the same year.
And if anyone wants me, I'm going to Prince Charles Cinema to watch Showgirls with Tommy Barbarella.
Yay! Guys, it's been fantastic. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for taking part.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Bye. We'll talk about another one soon.